Hello, friends, and welcome to the Cornerstone Collective. My name is Jay Brown, your host. With me is Gage Lee.
What's up?
As well as Javan, our producer. And today we have a special guest with us, and that is Mr. Aaron Motley. Aaron, welcome to the podcast, man.
Thank you.
Yes, applause.
Good to have you here, dude.
Hey, we're talking about jumping off a couple things as we were grabbing lunch earlier together, but we got into this thing. It's kind of a wave right now. Have you guys seen like kids from the hood saying that they're abandoning their Nike Tech zip-ups, and they're actually going quarter zips and matcha? Have you seen this?
Yes.
What do you think, Aaron?
I think it's cool.
Yeah.
My kids have talked to me about it, and they've used like other conversions to discuss it. But
Okay.
yeah, I mean, it's dope to go to the high fashion, you know?
Going preppy a little bit?
Yeah.
Jabo? As a man who naturally runs QZs.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So I fully support the trend. I think it's great. People moving to like more towards a business casual style is like, it's definitely the wave right now.
That's cool. Have you seen this at all?
I have not seen it at all.
Okay.
At all.
Okay,
I
so
respect the quarter zips, but
those-
wait, let me just touch back to this. You
Yeah,
said
yeah.
quarter zip and what?
And matcha.
Oh, I'm all in.
So they're
all in,
they're
baby.
like it's like a whole thing. There's a bunch of like seriously hood dudes like making really funny memes.
I'm a
like
matcha
guys that
brother
are all
now.
like
Yeah.
tatted on the
Yeah.
face and the neck and the whole thing.
I love it.
This one dude, they're busting out stuff like that, making me laugh so hard. Everybody's zipped up with quarter zips, and they're all like, fresh and looking all preppy.
Yeah.
So it's a wave. Yeah. So they're saying they're going away from iced coffee and they're going to matcha. This is what they're doing.
Oh no, I got to run that 50-50. I need me my espresso. You know what I mean?
I hear you.
Gots
What about the quarter zip? So Javan, if those who are listening, Javan's running a quarter zip. He plays golf, so actually I have a ton of quarter zips as well. What do you think, man? Can you do it, Gage? Run the quarter zip?
I don't know. I think I can pull off anything I throw on.
There you go.
Come on.
So,
you
yeah.
just got to own it.
There you go. I like that. I appreciate that. That's a fire. Aaron, you own a quarter zip in the house? You got a quarter zip?
Occasionally I have meetings and stuff, and I'll do it. It looks better if you don't have a belly. You know what I mean? So the quarter zip.
But
yeah,
you don't.
right
So
to
what
the-
are you worried about? You know? What I'm
come
saying?
on, man.
Come on, baby.
You got to lie to kick it, bro.
You gotta lie to kick it.
Hey, you know what, too? I actually really like matcha, but when I drink it, my oldest calls me a performative male. I don't know if you've gotten to that.
Oh, wow, that's savage. You gotta watch out, man. When their J highs become high schoolers and that whole transition, his cues going that direction.
Yeah,
Gotta watch out, man. They'll start chopping you down.
for sure.
Chopping you down. Hey, we've been talking about tech and some things like that recently on some of the on the episodes, and one of the things that jumped off to me today, man, is they just released Nano Banana, which is a text to video editor, and you might have seen these online. It's kind of like Sora, where you can't really quite tell if it's real or not, and then the Sora print comes on, and you're like, okay, this is not real. A lot of those are like animals and babies in a yard or something. Like a lot of online, you've seen videos on that on TikTok or Instagram or something. This is the same kind of thing, Nano Banana, but man, crazy realistic. Like they just chose somebody. They're like, so they put somebody like on Joe Rogan's podcast, and they would have him talking to somebody who's like dead or something like that. Javan, you've seen a little bit of this.
Yeah, it's super crazy. Like the fact that it can just keep getting more realistic is so scary because like, I mean, you think about what we're able to do now in like 2 years, we will not be able to distinguish what's like an actual video and what's made up by AI. It's absolutely insane. I know they're doing like the watermark thing for AI recognition,
Right.
but even then, like to the naked eye, they're not going to be able to see it unless you have like some big logo stamped on the front. So
Yeah, it's super wild. So that you can't tell like on the face of the video, but AI can scan it and tell that it's AI. Which AI, knowing if it's AI, doesn't really help us.
Yeah, no.
We gotta need to know what's going on. What was the example that they used? I think they were doing something with Joe Rogan, putting some on the podcast.
yeah, I think it was Joe Rogan and Steve Jobs.
Yeah, and
something
then
like that.
Genghis Khan.
Yeah,
yeah,
it was
And
wild.
It looks 100% because I mean, there's hours and hours and hours of Rogan doing his stuff. #1 podcast on Apple and Spotify. So tons of video of that guy. So then they just like put somebody like Steve Jobs, there's a lot of video of that guy, and just puts him in. It looks real, super real, because they have their voices. Both their voices are like tons of hours. It sounded legit too, which is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it was weird. Like the whole AI thing, I feel like a few years ago, it was always like, oh, look at the hands. You can tell. Or like there'd be some weird movement.
Yeah.
But it is really, the one I see all the time now is like dogs protecting people on their porches.
Yes.
And people will send that to me and it's like, there's no way your kitty cat ran off a grizzly bear. Like this is AI. And I
Correct.
feel like that's how you can kind of tell now. It's like, that doesn't seem like it would work.
Right. And that's not the ones I'm worried about. It's
Yeah.
not those. It's the ones where it's like making somebody say something off color
like
or
a politician or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Even if those of us who are video podcasting, that not that we have that kind of sway or they want to do that to us, but the idea is still there. So pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's probably going to be a lot easier for people to intentionally tarnish somebody's reputation or flip the script on their, like you could take any one of our voices and put an AI video of us at like some private function and say, this is how they are off screen. This is how they are away from their community. So yeah, that's pretty
totally
easy
true.
to tarnish somebody like that.
Man, that's 100% right. I
Help us.
was thinking about this because for those that don't know, Aaron is an artist. He does all sorts of style. Aaron, how would you explain your style?
Well, I think the scene that really influenced me was like lowbrow, where it's like stuff that's influenced by old cartoon style, graffiti, stuff like that. But then they take that and kind of develop it into like a fine art style. So that for me is like kind of where I've fallen, I feel like.
That's awesome. And he's done that in all sorts of different ways. You want to kind of explain like what's your major ways to do that?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, so for me, like the thing that I feel like I got the most popular for was for sticker trading, which is just like a subculture of graffiti. You're going to the post office and getting 228 labels. You're putting a character or a tag on it. And then one branch will branch off into like, I'm just getting up, you know what I mean? Slapping stickers everywhere. For me, like I like to take my time and develop the characters on it. And then I send them all over the world. I've like traded with people from like Australia, I think probably the Germany, the Netherlands people. I just got it packed from a guy who's in the Netherlands and so
That's awesome.
I mostly trade and collaborate with people. So,
and I've seen like Instagram. Where can they find you on Instagram?
Waka Flocka Seagulls.
Waka Flocka Seagulls, which I love that.
Yeah,
It's kinda-
WACKA.
Yeah.
AKA.
It's AKA. AKA. Yeah. So yeah, pretty crazy. It's been fun. Aaron and I have known each other for a long time, been friends for a long time. We'll get into that a little bit. But I want to kind of hear your take on this because of the thing about Nano Banana, also thinking about all this new art being made by AI. And how you see a lot of that style where it's like they're giving prompts and it's just making art. And then it's like, okay, but they're taking the source from somewhere. So, but it's not really, you're not really quite sure of where it's being creeped from. And then you have somebody who like Beeple, who's super famous for his digital art, sold all the NFT setup and became, for $100 million, whatever it was. So what's your take on that?
So like you said, with the Beeple thing, no beef there. He was doing it before like AI was accessible and talking about it. And it was an artistic, interesting take.
Right.
As far as like people generating images with AI, to me too, not super offensive. I get it. You run a business, you need an image for something, and it's an easy way to do it. It's when people start like making it so like, oh, like I created this thing. Or when you start saying like you created or you're an artist, because really like at least my understanding of AI is it's pulling from what's already out there.
Right.
And I always thought it would be interesting like in the future to see like how that's all going to pan out. If you can tell AI took an image from another artist, is that artist going to be owed something? Is there going to be some way to track or monetize? I don't know.
Right.
So it's just really weird right now. But when people generate AI images and they're like, oh, this is art, I'm just like, no.
And that's true. Javan, how do you think like your generation feels about it? I mean, you guys are like in the college age kind of wave. What do you think about that? People using AI all the time.
I mean, like as far as from the artistic perspective,
Yeah.
I don't really think it's a huge deal because as far as what I've seen most people in my generation using it for, it's like with what Aaron was talking about for like really simple business labels or stuff that they need to just like slap an effective oversimplified logo on. But it's when it comes to like elaborate pieces that I also kind of get dicey about it. I think the only use of AI I've seen that like is actually developed or in like they represent like a really big scene is in like videography if they're like retelling a story. But besides that, nothing major. Nobody's like really putting out pieces that are like, oh, this is from me, when it's just entirely AI made. They kind of just slap it on video labels or whatever and call it a day. But that's about it.
Yeah, it's really insightful, really interesting thinking about that kind of stuff from an art perspective. I know we have a friend named Persephone who does a lot of live painting stuff too, and she just did an installation for Goodyear for Veterans Day and did a big mural, like a big 8x8, had it at the city square outside, which was really cool. And she's up and coming. She's just first year in college, so really doing something which is pretty cool to see a wave like that in the same kind of vein, doing painting and sketches and stuff like that, very similar to where Aaron started out from. So it was very cool to see that. But I was thinking about that in alignment with some of these things and just like, man, it reminded me of Exit Through the Gift Shop, that movie.
Oh yeah.
And is
With
talking
Banksy.
talking about Banksy, but what was the guy that mirrored him or mimicked him?
Mr. Brainwash.
Thank you, Mr. Brainwash. And so he essentially was inspired by him and Shepard Fairey and these other guys who are doing Obey. And so he like took their MO and ran that thing pretty strong. What was your take on that?
So to me, honestly, I'm still not convinced that was actually a documentary. I think it was a mockumentary, but it's up in the air really because this Mr. Brainwash, I think that they did do some kind of social things where he was putting out shows and he was like,
yes.
The documentary is really funny, because he's like just doing a photographic print of like David Bowie or something and like splashing paint on it, and people are going crazy, and it's like almost just social experiment to see if it's about the art or if it's about just the hype built around each other, and that's kind of the debate I've heard about that documentary is like, was this actually just Banksy like planting something as a social experiment because he's like that, you know what I mean? And it's an interesting movie for sure.
Yeah, he's very subversive in his messaging, especially in the UK and to those powers that be or whatever. I saw his recent one that he just did, kind of using the imagery from the guards in Buckingham Palace and using some imagery there and some of the stuff that they're doing. So it's really insightful to see that. Yeah. But I was thinking about that because, he's inspired by and does something related to. So is it a mockumentary? Is it real? Is he just running the hype because he figured it out? That's interesting to think about that for that perspective.
Yeah, you're right too, because I think it's been a long time since I've watched that, but I think the way it started was like him just genuinely being inspired, and then it spiraled out into just like a popularity thing and a hype thing is what it was.
Right.
Yeah.
Crazy. Gage, you were like in skate culture and all that kind of stuff. He had people throwing up stuff from here to there. What do you guys think about that from our perspective? Some of that, the Banksy and the Beeple and some of that stuff, you paid attention to it?
Not even a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Not even a little bit.
Yeah.
I've stayed so far out of that. I mean, because like artistic styles, I really only considered whenever I was like picking out a new deck.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and
yeah,
like I was always running the same kind of style anyways. I was doing like Santa Cruz, Creature, Powell Peralta. Like I stayed in that lane for so much that like I didn't even pay attention to the art side of it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And to be honest, I was usually like either too drunk or high to really care.
Sure, yeah.
I was just out there for the jam sessions. That was it.
Yeah, my board can glow in the dark.
I could roll my weed on my skateboard because I got rails on the side to stop it from falling off.
Running the old school,
Yeah.
the old school
That's it,
rails
dude.
on the side of the deck.
Come on.
Interesting, like to think about that from the art perspective. I know, like Rat Rod and some of those other like skate /
Rat Fink, yeah.
Rat Fink, yeah. Some of the doing the Rat Rod driving the shifter kind of stuff for the Rat Fink character, or these other characters. I was trying to explain. What was the guy that was on Mad on all the Mad comics and stuff? It was you remember his name?
It's
The
like
character
Alfred B. something.
Alfred E. Newman. I think. So Alfred was like this like smiley, kind of troublesome, kind of a Dennis the Menace type thing. I think. And I was trying to explain that to Javen, and Javen had no context for it because it's such an old head thing. I'm surprised that Gage knows.
Mad
actually.
TV,
Yeah. So it's like a reference to something like that. But people used to slap that up too.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah,
pretty
for
crazy.
sure.
I traveled quite a bit across the world, especially when I was younger, and got a chance to see a ton. That was when Shepard and all the Obey crew were really they were throwing up everywhere, and it'd be in really obscure places that you're like, how did they get there? Like it'd be like a 30-foot ceiling above an escalator in Tokyo, and I'd be like in Tokyo looking up, like, dude, how did they put that Andre there? Like you just you're like, I don't know how they did this. Like it's really impressive. So I was thinking about that, and like even some of the pixelated art that Space Invader would do in Paris. I was in Paris a couple weeks ago and got to see a new Space Invader thing that he had thrown up. And I was like, dude, I remember I would go all through the city. I took pictures of like tons of them. I probably have 50, 60 pictures of Space Invader pixelation art that he would put up places. And he would match it to the background so they won't take it down. So it's really interesting. It'd be on a fountain sculpture. It'd be like whatever, a Sphinx sculpture that's like actually a fountain. And there'd be like a Space Invader like character that's there, made out of tiles that he's placed in the fountain, which is pretty crazy.
You know what you forgot to bring up is the Avondale cheese block.
Let's go. Why don't you explain it?
So I don't know if you guys have ever seen this. They have the new storage unit right here.
Right.
And just going this way, I don't know which.
Yeah, headed west.
Headed west, there's like a huge concrete block. And if you look on it, there's one side of it that's painted like a slice of cheese.
Yes.
And that was my homie Ulysses. Like, I was telling the boys today because I was pointing it out to them. And I was like, this has been here almost 20 years.
Right.
Untouched. Was in the newspaper when it came out. And my friend Ulysses, he used to write Polito, and he would get up in Avondale, man.
Yeah.
He was on top of the Savers, or it used to be. Is this Savers
still
now?
Savers, yeah.
What
Yeah.
was it before? An
It was
Arco?
like an Abco.
Abco.
Yeah, it's like a chain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
Right
climbed
near
up there.
107?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, okay.
He climbed up there and put like his little chicken, his little Polito up there, and man, I used to get up in Avondale, dude. But that piece has been there forever, and I always check when I'm coming to church. Oh, it's still there.
That's crazy.
That's so cool.
We were talking about recently on one of the other podcasts about Ocean getting up and talking about how much Ocean got up, which was crazy, and his whole crew.
Yes.
And they were hitting trains, and those trains were TMK. They were going everywhere. And then I was talking about in Paris, there's a crew which we used to use as like an Xbox handle for like doing stuff, which was FENX, which is Phoenix. So we used to use that handle. We used it for like 10 years. Then I get to Paris. That's a dude's tag. He has Phoenix everywhere. Dude, it's across Europe. And I would be going down train lines, going in another country, and there's FENX, dude. And he just blast it. And we were just like, wow, this guy's getting up.
That's cool.
So it was really wild to see. And we were talking about the difference between like graffiti and art and like where it is, et cetera. So it's always an interesting thing to talk through. As it gets back into this idea of art versus people creating it, it's interesting to see a guy like Beeple who he would make a piece of art every single day. And he's using mostly like an Illustrator type thing. So he's using Photoshop or stuff like that. And then he was using AI elements that he had created and kind of put them in buckets, and then he would use them as interchangeable because you could see his style. Mm-hmm. But more and more of things have begun to look like his art style because they've creeped all his art, and so they use that as an inspiration for the AI. So if you were like, oh, hey, give me an AI of whatever, like your son, like I want a baby version of him, but it mixed with the robot and blah, blah, blah. They might use an artistic style from Beeple because it's so prolific on the internet. So it's really interesting to see like how that looks. And to your point, like, should he get credit? Is it just inspiration? Because like songs all the time will credit another song, but it's unless you're like using the sound bites, it's more inspiration than not.
Yeah, and I feel like the argument I've always heard too is like even as an artist, you go through these cycles where your art starts derivative.
Right.
I was tracing Bugs Bunny or whatever like that, and then you start like picking up influences and you start to deviate a little bit or mix things, and then like stage 3 is like you're creating what they would call your style.
Right.
But the problem with AI is that happens in nanoseconds, you know what I mean?
Yep. So fast that it's really hard to catch up in any other context to it.
Yeah.
Because you're like, okay, so how do we do this? What does it look like, et cetera, et cetera. It makes it really tough for sure. Crazy. We talked about robots and humanoid robots. I saw a crazy thing that was actually verified. I thought for sure it was AI at first, but it was a humanoid robot they were doing something, and it was like on a path in China. It's supposed to be the delivery bot. This guy was riding a scooter, and the thing ran towards his scooter and would not deviate. And so the guy got off his scooter and walked away from his scooter, and the thing was like running into his scooter. And I was like, this is crazy, dude. And it made me an alignment of like all the things we were talking about before, which is like whether or not you would have a humanoid robot at your spot.
No. Hard pass.
Hard pass from Gage. Aaron, what do you think?
I'm on the no boat as well.
No boat. Javen, what did you say?
Oh, no. I said I wouldn't probably have one, but like I would have a virtual household assistant, like a chat bot or something like that. I think that's more useful.
Yeah, I think Jaden said he would rather have like a pile of like, a Roomba and this thing and that thing and the other thing. And I was saying, but those things can't like fold your laundry. Like those things can't, clean your dishes. Like, so the humanoid robots are interesting.
I don't know. You still got people who you can pay for those services.
That's kind of their point, yeah.
Yeah, but depending on how much this humanoid robot costs for entry into that world and then maintenance along with it, all the different things that come with it, right? Because then you got people who are going to start accessorizing them.
Oh, for
you
sure.
can only have these sorts of, it's like Apple, right? So you can only have this specific charger, or like you could buy this, but then you have to buy this accessory for this to work.
Oh, for sure.
That's exactly how they would do it. It's like, how much would you actually dump into it to have this like disconnected robot?
Yeah.
Running all these things around your house versus like, okay, if you got that kind of money anyways, why not just have the real human connection and like pay for these services that humans, which it's so crazy. At one point we're going to have that divide of like,
for sure.
Why aren't you supporting humanity? Like, why aren't you supporting the people?
Well, and honestly, we were talking about this a little bit too, but as somebody who employs a bunch of people, man, we got people, they get sick, they call out. I mean, I've been sick. I've had to call out.
True.
And guess who doesn't get sick and call out? You know what I mean? So it makes it scary because there's a lot of like
They break down though, I'm sure.
For sure. And the functional side of it is like that's the other argument. So it makes it really scary. I was saying, give you an
already trying to
example.
stand up for
No, I know
the
you
people.
should. I'm with you, dude. I'm pro-human, believe me. But for the future AI, I'm also pro-robot. I don't know if you guys coming from me yet.
Whoa, yeah, right, all right.
Just kidding.
I'm not against you.
Have you heard they have a slur already for the robots?
Okay.
Clankers.
Oh, I haven't heard
Oh,
this.
that's
is this like,
awesome.
Is this a cuss word? What is it?
It's not a cuss word. Well,
Is it like a
if you're-
derogatory term?
Yeah, it's like
Okay.
the
Slanderous.
slander that you use. Like,
Really?
yeah,
Those darn clankers.
yeah.
Exactly.
Is that what it is? Javen, you heard this?
Oh yeah. We started using it. It got popular on TikTok. I want to say
It's like a year ago?
no, months ago.
Oh, it's
This was
recent.
probably in like September, October. So every time we pass one of those delivery bots that
Yep.
like virtually delivers people food from like Grubhub or something, we're always just like, oh, those stupid clankers, and we just like keep going on.
Yeah, because you guys are on ASU. ASU is like
Yeah.
60,000 people or more.
Yeah.
And so you guys have like those delivery bots running around.
Oh, they always run around, but they'll just like crash into people because people are unpredictable. So they'll just like be walking every which way, and then they also run into poles that are designed to like stop cars from going into certain areas.
right. Like those-
Sometimes they'll literally just keep going in loops because they'll get stuck like with one object. They'll like drive into a trash can. They're like, oh, so then they'll turn and then they'll drive into a person and then they'll like have to turn again. It's so funny.
Sounds like a Waymo trying to drive its way out of a circle.
Yeah, and we've seen those get stuck on our campus too. Like they'll just drive up to some random sidewalk, and we're like, "How did it get there?" We're really confused, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that stuff terrifies me, dude. So we were just having a conversation at work this past week of, so like one of our foremen, a guy that brought him up into the trade and taught him a lot of knowledge.
Okay.
He was working at an Amazon distribution warehouse, and they have these automated forklift style robots that'll
Right.
go around. They'll take product, move it around, but they cap it like 30 miles an hour.
Right. Which is still fast when you're moving weight.
I mean, you gotta, you gotta think like if it's a feather hitting you at 30 miles an hour, it's not that big of a deal.
Right.
But when you got a brick hitting you at 30
Yeah,
miles an hour,
forklift.
exactly. So
That's crazy.
And they're supposed to stay in these dotted lines or whatever. Anyway, so dude's walking through this Amazon warehouse, going to work, right? Working, tool buckets in each hand,
Right.
and gets taken out by one of these little robots.
It runs them over.
Gets taken out, bro. And like, here's the thing. Dude's probably getting paid out, right?
Probably.
But what extent is that good
he's all
enough? Whenever,
broken.
when you're broken physically
Ah,
for the
dude.
rest of your life because of it.
Terrible.
You know what I mean? So like, there's so much. Like I'm scared of automation the way I am of like large birds. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't like it's not gonna happen at any moment, but it could. You know what I'm saying?
This is the condor just attacks from the sky.
You got like a golden eagle coming in and sweeping you off. You know? Come on, dude.
Which is what we were talking about before when Gage and I were talking about the first time he saw the Amazon drone. He hadn't seen them, and they've been going over of his parents' house, my house, where we live. And so we were sitting outside talking in the street, and he's like, "Dude, what is that?" I'm like, "It's Amazon, dude. Don't worry about that." He's like, "What is that?" Because this is big, man. It's a big old drone that's hanging out
that
above
thing's
you.
big enough to swoop down and like snatch one of my kids.
It's a golden eagle.
That's what I'm saying.
That's right. Oh man, exactly right. So that's pretty crazy.
No, thank you.
I did see the other side of this, which it actually goes in alignment with what you're saying with the automated processes. These new places they're making in China as hospitals, which we have a lot of friends who are nurses and doctors and different stuff. They are taking all the like, take this from here to there, or take these charts from here to there. They're doing all that's automated. A lot of it's running in track where it goes. The person puts it in the wall. It runs up the ceiling and down the hallway on the ceiling. So the ceilings are high, so it's out of your way.
Yeah.
So there's nothing on the floor to trip over. And then even the dosing is auto-dosed and then put into a container and it's shipped over. So there's still the action of like the doctor giving the dosing, but it's pre-dosed and it's brought to the place.
Pre-measured out.
They
and
say it's like 70 to 80% of all the foot traffic of a doctor does of back and forth and just task-oriented stuff, gone. So it's more time with the actual individual patient, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's terrifying. That's terrifying. I mean, like I've seen it, right?
Yeah,
like we've
sure.
all seen it whenever
Sure.
you go to an ATM and you put the mail in the tube or whatever, and it shoots back and forth. And then I've also worked at like chip plants, like microchip processing plants, and same thing. You see those automated machines go down, they'll grab something, go up, and they all track up above. And I mean, you're moving like 6 times faster than how quick people are walking down these
sure.
aisles. They're zooming.
Yeah, zooming.
So like, I get it, bro. I get it. You know, you're going to expedite a lot of these things. You're going to take away a lot of the foot traffic.
Right.
But also, like, all these people, now what are they going to do?
Yep.
We're going to get to a point where we're all going to need to be off of this, like, what was it? The
like Wall-E, like the system where they're all floating
where
around
we all
on the
have
chairs.
the universal
basic income. Yeah, UBI.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
exactly.
people are going to be out of jobs everywhere because this automated life is just coming and taking over. I'm waiting for the day that a robot can come in and hang sprinkler pipes. I don't know if that day will come, dog.
Because then you're gonna buy a bunch of them and start your own business and just be outbidding everybody.
Yeah, but then I'm the
And I'm
the
gonna be like-
producer of the thing I'm against.
I'm gonna be like, Gage, what about humanity? What about? You're like, what about the bottom line? You're a true capitalist. I'm like, oh no, oh no.
What about my infinity pool overlooking the the Maldives?
Stinking clankers. Which
There it
I'm,
is.
future AI, I'm very sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah.
I didn't mean any of it.
Canceled 30 years from now.
It's like Mr. Brown, the robot, whatever panel comes in. give my piece. Craziness. Something I did see that was cool is that these guys out of Europe, they designed a backpack that can be given to unhoused people, and the backpack actually is a portable shelter. Which I thought was really cool. So it essentially makes remember how we were talking about traveling in Japan, and it makes those, you can go and be in those tubes and go stay over the night. It makes something similar to that. It's like a ground blind for like a hunting reference, like kind of like where it has it's a space. They can either come where they're more transparent or they're not. And they can actually be where there's a solar layer above, which actually heats the inside.
Whoa.
So people can set it out and heat it for in places that are colder. I'm assuming they probably do something like that where it runs a fan for the warmer climates. But I thought that was a pretty cool situation, because we were talking about unhoused peoples and such a big problem in places like Phoenix where, man, it's so hot here in summer. And then it gets cold in winter. People don't realize.
No, yeah, people die every year, all
so
across
sad.
Every coast, right? That's
right.
You got to think about the homeless who are out on the East Coast, especially the Northeast, right? These
sure.
people are literally freezing to death every year.
That's right.
And then summertime in Arizona, I mean, you got people will put booties on their dogs before they even go walk their dogs, and then you got people walking around with giant holes in their shoes or no shoes at all, and then they're, they don't have access to unlimited clean water or food and all these things, shade even.
Yep.
You got people who are going to seek shade underneath overpasses on the freeway, and they're constantly getting kicked out, right?
Yep.
So they don't have anywhere to go. They don't have anything to keep them safe.
For sure. No, absolutely. We were talking about that a little bit back in the day. Aaron has done shows, even continues to do shows, but more specifically, remember First Friday, we used to do a bunch of stuff downtown.
Yeah.
There's a lot of unhoused population that's down there, but it was always an interesting thing because there's kind of an intersection and overlay between the artist community and the unhoused community.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. What was your experience down there running around downtown so much?
I remember when we first used to go down there, it was before I would even have gallery or show opportunities and stuff, and it was set up on the street and sell your art.
Right.
And it was pretty dope too, because it was lots of interesting conversations with people where you don't know where they came from,
right?
If they're staying in a commune, if they're homeless or whatnot. And also too, I think doing it that way back then too made opportunity for people who were just in that area to be a part of something, whether or not they were plugged in with an official gallery or not. So it's pretty dope.
Kind of community and give it an opportunity for them to do something with their life.
Sure.
Which I think is pretty cool. I do like that a lot. And we've seen a lot of that actually where people have used their artistic expression to actually lift themselves out of poverty and into something more successful, which is pretty crazy, pretty great. Actually, I love that. So amazing.
There also too, while you're thinking of it, there used to be this homeless guy down there when we would go, and this was when the Galaxy spray paints were first popular, and everyone would circle around this guy, and he'd be painting planets with spray paint and ripping newspaper off of it.
Oh yeah.
And it was this thing. He was famous for that, was absolutely homeless.
Yeah, I've seen those actually.
Yeah.
And they do the spray can to finish it out to make it whatever set or whatever.
It was really cool.
That's pretty amazing. I've seen people pay people to do suitcases or other cool laptops. They'll do the top of their laptop.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, at first you're dude, this guy's just messing this guy's laptop up, dude. And then he pulls away and you're oh wow, that's incredible.
It's
a galaxy.
That's insane.
Exactly right. It's so fire.
I remember the first time watching those. Time I saw those, I was like, man, there's endless possibility. I could put universes and galaxies on anything.
Right.
And then I was like, it looks easy, but I'm not going to ruin my skateboard and try to do this right now. For sure.
Yeah, I think it would take a lot of iterations to get it down. Get
Exactly.
it straight. For sure. Jabo, with being where you guys are at in Tempe, have you guys seen a lot of unhoused population around campus, or is that something you guys don't really interact with as much?
We have a little bit on the corner of like Apache and Rural. There's like a set of homeless people that kind of just chill by the bus stops. But besides that, not really. I think most of them are probably downtown. Like they have a really bad problem with people trying to get into the ASU campus all the time downtown.
Okay.
And they have just like a bunch of people that are like high out of their minds running around with like knives or whatever.
Ooh.
So they'll have like security threats running for people in the dorms over there and stuff like that. So we get the alert because we're part of ASU, but it'll be like for the downtown campus and we're just like, oh snap.
Shouts out
like
Phoenix.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it happened
No kidding.
again. So
Yeah, for sure.
yeah,
Yeah,
but,
that is the other side of that for sure.
yeah, it's not too bad in Tempe. We only have like, I would say a handful of people probably on major corners that just ask for stuff and that's about it. But they're really nice. They're super chill.
Yeah, we haven't found obviously an answer, in America at all, but even in Phoenix Metro for the unhoused population, it hasn't been a real true answer to be able to find them long-term housing or a solution to help them out of their situation. So I think that's still a problem that government needs to address, and then also just us that are working in nonprofits. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Really big deal. Hey, I want to shift gears a little bit and talk about mental mastery. We've been talking about some of these different ideas and want to talk about those today. The first one is loss aversion. And they say loss aversion is losses feel stronger than gains. So their example is losing $50 feels worse than the excitement of gaining $50. What do you think? Does that resonate with you, Aaron?
I think it does. Yeah,
Does it?
absolutely. Yeah.
Feel more the pain of the loss than the joy of the gain?
Yeah, I think even more like from like a growth perspective or even like in an artistic perspective, you're not really paying attention to your little wins and your little progresses. Okay. But if someone like messages me after I sent them a commission and they're like, yeah, it's not really what I was looking for, I'm just like, oh.
Yeah, so it feels like you got chopped down.
Yeah, like I'm tying up my worth and you're saying like you don't like it or whatever,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, that's really tough. Jabo, what do you think, man? Loss aversion.
No, it's definitely real. Like even in like small wagers versus people, you always feel a loss more than you feel like wins against things like that. Yeah. Or even for like the ASU football season, like every time we've won a decent amount of games, I want to say we're 8-3, okay. And we have the chance to go 9-3 against U of A this weekend, which we will win, by the way. But,
let's go.
Yeah, exactly. But like, dude, the stupidest losses that happen, you always feel them more, and especially because the AP is just gonna like absolutely tank your rank. So I mean, it's definitely real.
And somebody who really cares about sports, Gage Lee. Oh, no, I'm just kidding. Hey, man, what do you? He's talking about. He's like, don't
outside.
care.
Yeah, I mean, you could look at it from a career perspective as well, right? So
Loss
like you make all of these leaps and bounds in a good direction, and then let's say you burn one client or you tank one project, right? It takes all of those good things away,
right?
You know what I mean? You could spend 2 years building all these bridges. You let one burn. The rest don't trust you.
Right. No, that's true.
Yeah.
There's an old saying. I'm not going to say it, but.
Yes. No, I know what you mean. Yeah, exactly. Yep. Don't mess where you eat. Yeah, no, I'm feeling, there's a bunch of those that I think apply to that.
Yeah.
So losses feel stronger, and that's what loss aversion is. Okay, number 2 is marginal gains. Tiny improvements compound into big results.
100.
Which goes along with what you're saying. It's the example they gave here is improving your routine by 5% each day leads to major growth over time. Thoughts on that, Aaron? What do you think in application to your art? Do you feel like you got like slowly better over time, or like your approach?
Yeah, I think that's an interesting thing too, even about having something like Instagram, because sometimes I'll scroll through stuff from even like a year ago and I'm just like, wow, the art is so different now, the technical ability, the comfort. Yeah, I totally agree with it. That's a thing for sure.
Yeah, this marginal gains step by step.
Yeah.
Gage, what do you think? Like an application for your life and different ideas, skills?
Yeah, I mean, it could be for anything, right? It could be for my job. It could be for just being a husband or a better father, right? Any of those things, as long as your goal is to be better than you were yesterday. I mean, those small incremental changes then compound into big shifts in whether it be a lifestyle or relationship or any of those things.
Yeah, no, it's true. Jabo, what do you think, man? Marginal gains.
Yeah, I mean, I think my mind initially just goes to the stock market, like first and foremost. I'm just like, yeah, if you fluctuate by this percent and like you sell it this price, like how likely is it going to be that it's going to go back down and you're going to keep making consistent margin like that?
Right.
Or even over a long-term period of time, you're like, okay, if I invest at this date in a year, how much will that be? And like over time, it should just compound and the math should be there.
Right.
But I mean, you're just trying to shorten it so you can essentially expedite the process.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's what they talk about the stock market, right? It's like on average between 7 and 10% a year.
Yeah.
But it's really tied down to like 2 or 3 really big days in the year. So you have to be in the market consistently, like day over day, buying in. Because if you don't dollar cost average, then you're going to miss those days to make that 10%.
Yeah.
So you have to stay connected up to it, which is what it's talking about here in the small day by day growth. Actually, will outrun and outgrow a big leap forward in short order. So that's pretty interesting.
Isn't there a story about like a turtle and a hare or something?
Yes, something like that.
Right.
That
Slow and steady.
Yeah, I think it was the hunter caught a turtle and a hare and had a good soup. Well, how'd it go?
I did that once.
Something like that. Exactly right. Third concept here is called the Lindy effect. The longer something has existed, the more likely it is to endure. That's an interesting idea. A book loved for decades will probably still be read decades later. What do you guys think about that, Javo? The Lindy effect.
I think that's definitely true. Like, especially, well, the literature example, definitely like classics that we know now, like even Sherlock Holmes, which is like, I want to say 1800s, like early 1800s, but we still read it like 200 years later or something like that. Or even like for our classical education in high school, we had to read like books written by Plato and Aristotle, and that's like millennia ago. So,
Right. The Republic. Right.
Yeah, exactly. So especially for literature, that's definitely true. And I think even like historical patterns that you see, like within empires getting too big and then they can't control everybody because there's insurrection and things like that, like history will just repeat itself and you see it constantly over and over again. So that's definitely true.
Yeah, it is true. I think the longer that something has existed, the more likely it is to endure, like meaning that you actually have more benefit because you get established. And so there's something like where they're an established person, so people just naturally reference that. Aaron, what do you think?
Yeah, I totally agree with that as well. I mean, I think even like what Javan was kind of saying is like the human experience is what it is. There's things that like all of us are going to experience despite what time frame we were in. And so like I think that people who take the time to establish things or write things down, when the future gets a hold of it, like it just will resonate if they take the time to understand it.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Really good. Gage, what do you think? The Lindy effect, longer something has existed?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, but my mind immediately kind of went to, like you were saying, with the literature side of it, like The Art of War, Sun Tzu, or Homer's Odyssey, like all those different things that, I mean, straight bangers, dude. You know what I mean? If it's got the heat, it's got the heat. It's gonna last. You know,
that's straight bangers. That's
come on.
That's true, man. It's so funny. Yeah, no, that's exactly it. You know, I was thinking about it too, kind of in a fun way, but. You know, they talk about musical genres. Kind of once things kind of been established and they have popularity enough to have like some staying power, then it lasts even longer. And and I heard a bunch of stand-up comedians talk about this, but it's like, you know, we are actually all getting older as a generation, and sooner or later there's gonna be a whole bunch of generation of old people that old people music is not gonna be like but it's gonna be like hip hop from the 1990s, from like, you know,
Wu-Tang is gonna be old people music.
That's what I'm saying.
It kind of is already, yeah.
Yeah, true. That's true. Kind of true. Yeah, it's like all the stuff that we think, oh, that's oldies. Well, oldies is like for people that are actually dead.
Dude,
All the
actually,
people
somebody
that are old
just said
now.
that at work.
Yes.
That we were playing. I think it was my boss was playing like Pimp C or something, and somebody on the job was like, "What is that? Like old '90s hip hop?" I was like, "Whoa, that's crazy." Yeah. Whoa. And
It's
somebody
like-
told me the other week too. They're like,
Yeah.
I said something was this kind of way, and they're like, "Oh yeah, but you're older." I'm like,
Dudes,
What?
dude, welcome to 30s, bro.
"Bro, chill out, chill out, dog. You ain't gotta put it like that."
Gage just turned 30. Shout out to Gage. He just turned 30 the other day, man.
My knees hurt.
So, so he's in that world running at it, which is pretty awesome. All right, fourth concept, feedback loops. Your actions create outcomes that reinforce more actions. We've heard this somewhere before. Reply to one email, easier to reply to the next email. That's the example they give. People might have learned around here called decisions determine your destiny.
Yeah,
What do you think
man.
about that?
Something like that.
Decisions
Aaron, what do you
determine
think,
your
man? You've heard that a
destiny.
couple times.
Just a few times, yeah. Can you repeat that one more time? I want to make sure I digested that.
Yeah, feedback loops. Your actions create outcomes that reinforce more actions. So by you taking the action to do something, it actually reinforces it. It's easier to do a second time than it is for you to start doing something new.
Yeah.
So that's what they're saying. If you answer an email, it's easier for you to answer a second email than for you to try and start something brand new.
Yeah, I think even like where my mind is going to with that concept is just like the daily faith practice for me, and that's something I've really been challenged in this year. I just feel like the times I've had intention to do things, or this isn't even a better example. Like there's so many times I've been stuck in the traffic at work and I'm like, oh, you know what, like feel really inspired to get home and start working out or something like that. And then you get home and you don't do anything.
Right.
But there's been times in my life where it's like I take the step to, even if I just do something, 10 push-ups or something like that. Like the next day it's like, okay, I can start here and I can see how I can add on each and every day. And I think you can apply that to many things in your life.
Well, I think you're right. Even what you're saying with the faith idea, like if you stop and pray and read your Bible in the morning first thing, and maybe even close out your day with just a reflective idea along the same lines, I think, man, it just builds a habit into your life, which we've been talking about habit quite a bit. And in fact, one of the books we were talking about was the habit building habits. And that, man, for me, I think that makes all the sense in the world, is that it's that feedback loop making it easier to do something.
Yeah, it does. And even too with that, to go back to the faith practicing, it sets a tone for your day. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Other decisions come up in your day and you think about how you started your day and you're just like, yeah, let me keep moving this way. You know what I mean? It makes it a little easier to make the right decision in each little thing that comes up.
I was thinking about how consistent you are in putting up your art, and that is in itself a feedback loop, because you are consistently putting up new stuff every week, and that makes it where it's like, wow, okay, you're really getting up like consistently. That's a lot to do. It makes a habit where you now reinforce this, and it has an outcome. For sure. That's a lot of effort to do. I mean, we're in the same boat here. We happen to be recording like podcast episode 13, I think, which is most podcasts, and they never make it past 10.
Wow.
The vast majority don't make it past 10. Why? Because the feedback loop is hard, man. It's hard to overcome when you're like, okay, we don't have an audience yet. We don't have this or that. No, you got to be doing it for what you're trying to accomplish with the concept long term. Yeah. So, man, it has a lot to it for sure. Feedback loop, Gage, what do you think?
I think you ripped away my answer just a minute ago.
Sorry.
Habits.
Sorry, my bad.
No, you're good. Yeah, that's the first thing my mind thought of, right? Is like you develop these cues that then create a habit, and then you receive that reward. And the more you are intentional about changing that cue, the more consistent that habit becomes.
Yep.
So like with anything, you know what I mean? Kind of like let's put it into terms of like the push-ups, like you were saying, right? So like the first time you do 10 push-ups, that's going to be the hardest one. Mm-hmm. The second one's going to be a little bit easier, right? Because you've already done the first 10.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what you're getting into. All the fear, maybe not all the fear or all the hard is taken out, but it's a little bit less.
Right.
It's not like that with leg day though, because the second day after leg day, that's always the hardest.
That's right.
You know,
your first quarter zip, your first matcha. I hear what you're saying.
Yes.
It's good.
Yeah.
Javo, feedback loops. What do you think, man?
No, that's definitely true. And even as a student, like when you're trying to kickstart work or kickstart doing something for a project, like if you're going to set aside dedicated time every day, that's definitely so true. Like you have to be willing to do it initially, and then all of your work will kind of just follow after that. You'll be like, okay, yeah, I already did this, so I might as well do that. And then you're like, oh, I'm done. That was way easier than I figured it would be.
That's good.
So yeah, definitely like not only within student life, but like mundane tasks. Like if I need to like clean my room or something, I'm like, oh my
Laundry.
gosh. Yes, exactly. You're just like, oh, okay, I guess I can start it. And then like by the time you're done, you're like, okay, yeah, that really wasn't a big deal. But
Wait,
you've
you do
already
laundry?
got it. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
This is news to me. This is
No, I know.
interesting.
It's
Very
not just at the house. Don't worry. Don't worry.
Awesome. Hey, want to get to a bracket today? Shout out Bracketology. These guys had a bracket that we're going to run today and talk through. We've talked about all sorts of stuff recently. We're talking about making better decisions today, challenged with a good word about our perspective of thankfulness.
Love that.
Very
Love that.
good.
Your wife killed it up there.
Celeste brought a really good word today. Challenging, man, to be thankful and making the choice to be thankful.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So this is interestingly in alignment with that. Didn't know. Picked this out before we had that message today. But the question is, what is something that can instantly ruin your day? So it could be something that would otherwise make it difficult. You'd have to make a decision to be thankful over the top of it. So we got a bracket. You guys ready?
No.
Okay, we're going to run.
All right, hit it. Come on.
All right, here we go. First two, traffic versus getting a bad haircut.
Traffic.
Yeah, traffic from Gage.
Traffic.
Okay, Gage is driving like an hour to work, so it makes sense for that. Aaron, you do it downtown as well, dude. What do you think?
Yeah, but I'm going to go bad haircut.
Going bad haircut?
Yeah.
Okay, Javo?
No, I'd have to go with him. Because even driving from Tempe, it's like it's manageable. It's not that bad.
Okay.
But a bad haircut, it sets a tone, dude. You're just, oh my God.
Hold on. Help me to understand this bracket.
Yeah.
Are we picking
Something
the one
that's worse.
Something that's worse.
The worst
Haircut.
Okay,
Sorry.
the worst. Yeah.
Okay.
No, but traffic can be bad. But I agree. They had it slated as 1 traffic, and they had haircut way lower. I agree with you. I think haircut is.
It's probably because it's like in more urban areas where people like are in like really dense cities and traffic's like that bad. But here, I mean, we just so used to driving that it's like.
Oh,
doesn't
I thought
really
you were going
matter.
to say really urban areas where people like they get a messed up fade and people are going to be clowning them all
No,
week.
no.
Well, yeah,
Well, what did they have that seated as?
16?
Yeah, that's crazy. That should
Super
be
low.
way higher.
That's
Yeah, way higher. Traffic,
Yeah.
you can leave in traffic. That haircut you're taking with you everywhere all
Yeah,
day.
exactly.
Man, it almost sounds like you guys are the fruit of the spirit working in your life. That's very impressive. I'm impressed.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
I'll align with you. Man, you get a bad haircut, man. I'm like in front of people on video and stuff. If I feel like I have a messed up haircut, dude, I'm like self conscious. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. It's give or take too, right? I mean, like, how many times do you see me not wearing a ball cap?
Yeah, but you got good hair.
Yeah, but that's not the point, right? Like, if you have a bad haircut,
Yeah.
you can put the hat on, not worry about it. I'm always wearing a hat, so like I could have a bad haircut.
Yeah.
Nobody would really know.
See, I don't care about wearing a hat. I would wear a hat, but people are super offended sometimes about preachers wearing hats. So I don't make a big deal. None of our worship guys, they can do whatever they want. Like we had someone do announcements that they didn't have a hat. I don't care.
Isn't there something with like a splinter and a log?
Yeah, a bunch of that. But it's
mind,
more
never
the
mind.
it's
Never
more
mind.
perspective about people honoring God. So it's like it really goes back to military culture because like the military culture in the States, you take your hat off when you walk indoors. Yep. Whereas like out of Jewish culture, you would never have your head uncovered because you don't have your head uncovered before God.
Yeah.
So it's two different sides of a very similar argument honoring God. For us, we see it as our heart and not necessarily your outfit. But I digress. Okay, something can ruin your day. Here's the next two: being sticky or spilling something on your shirt. Javen, what do you think?
I'll have to go spilling something on your shirt just because you have to like change the whole outfit at that point and you're just like, especially if it's something you wanted to wear that day. And
That goes a nice quarter zip.
Exactly.
Little QC, got the matcha on there.
Yeah, something like
Hard
that.
to wash out.
Yeah. Oh, it would suck so bad.
Just so y'all know, I'm getting a matcha after this episode. I have to do
Aaron,
it
what do you think, man? Being sticky or spilling something on your shirt?
I literally have a phobia about being sticky.
Really?
I hate being
Really?
sticky. I grew up in a house with a lot of little brothers and sisters.
Right, sure. Yep.
And I would have this thing where sometimes juice would spill and
Right.
you'd step on the floor and get that. And I just, when I'm around tape, anything, I hate if it's on my skin. I just hate it. I hate sticky.
Wow. So there you go. So vote there, Gage.
Yeah, sticky.
Wow.
All the way.
Okay.
You could
Gage
change
is
a
sticky.
shirt. You know, I mean, it's quick and easy to change a shirt, but like if you got like that like tacky sticky feel.
for sure.
Yeah, Aaron.
We got
Like
dry
where-
heaving in the studio.
I'm saying though, man, where like you go like this, it's in the crease of your arm, and like your
no.
arm feels like it sticks together.
I mean, but you could like wash your arm off pretty quickly though. You just take like a towel or paper towels or something. You just go like
The
that.
thing is with sticky, it's not always like water soluble sticky. It's
yeah.
like it's still stuck.
Yeah, you need some kind of like alcohol distilled
Yeah.
spirits to like melt it off of your body or something like that. That is accurate, actually. I know for whatever reason there's stuff. I mean, just like doing handyman stuff around the house. We have a ton of projects we do here, and from time to time we use tape a lot, and we use a lot of things like that. So you will get that stuff on you, get the stickiness, and you'll know, dude. They'll be like at a date later with your wife at nighttime, and you're like, dude, my hand still has the stuff on it.
Yeah.
And that's after you've used like, goo and all the other like soaps, and it doesn't matter. So I don't know. I think you guys are the right vote there. Though I do understand spilling something in your shirt. I will change my clothes because I'm like, I run an extra set of stuff. I just have it sitting on the side. So, all right, Sticky's going to move forward. All right, next thing, shopping bag ripping or biting the inside of your mouth.
Shopping bag ripping.
Yeah?
Biting the inside of your mouth.
Okay. Javo?
I'd go shopping bag.
Interesting. I'm going to probably go shopping bag also because I have lived in cities where I had to carry my groceries long distance. And like, wow, that does hurt biting the inside of your mouth. Dude, the pain of having to carry, like group carry things and look ridiculous. I hate it so much. You'd have to put like stuff in your shirt. And then
Yeah, that's
carry
what I say.
your
You got to
shirt.
use your matcha stained quarter zip.
That's 100%. And
carry.
you got like your, my six pack hanging out is definitely
no.
what was happening. Not a
Yeah.
belly.
Yeah.
Definitely not a belly. But, definitely something. Yeah, terrible.
I went with the biting the inside of the mouth because it never happens once.
That's true.
You bite and then you bite and bite and bite.
He's making strong points here. That's
I
pretty
may
decent.
have a little like scarred up tissue from that having happened just a few days ago.
He's living in the real. All right, so we're gonna move with shopping bag there. Okay, Next thing is phone not being charged versus a persistent headache.
Headache. All the way.
Yeah, definitely a headache.
Okay.
Definitely headache.
That's
Okay.
crazy
Headache
that
on
would
the
even
sweet.
be.
Yeah.
I think phone because man, we use our phone so much.
Sure.
And if your phone is not charged and it dies, like you feel like you're disconnected from the whole planet. Now, if that was normal, like back in the day, totally normal. Phones didn't exist. It wasn't a big deal. You go about your life, no big deal.
I get it. So many people depend on that dopamine hit from their phone, but at the same time, like, what good is dopamine gonna do for you when you get a migraine, dog?
No, it's a good
Come
point.
on.
Good point. And it's true. It's like, man, drink some water, take some Tylenol. It still might not hit it. So, nope. Wow. Okay. So headache's going to move forward. All right. Next two. Interesting here. It says delivery mess ups, like not getting a delivery right, or pooping your pants.
Excuse me?
That's right. Defecating in your britches. Or a messed up delivery. You know, sometimes you're really waiting for something. Like you're like, oh man, I got this
diapers.
thing. Depends. It depends. You know what I'm saying?
That's good.
So what do you think, Javo?
I think I'd have to go with soiling yourself. I think that's like way worse.
That's a lot more better way to say that. But that's okay. That would be pretty rough for sure. Aaron?
Yeah, I don't want to poop my pants. I'm good on that.
I will say the one argument on this other side would be like if you've had something where you're like, man, I'm waiting on that one thing to do a project, or I'm waiting on this one thing for a gift for somebody, and then it doesn't come through, it can really complicate your life. Whereas like selling yourself, you just change your britches out and you're good to go, I guess.
Yeah, if it's summertime in Arizona, you have no gas in the car, and you're waiting on a delivery of water, I still think that's better than soiling yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, well, here's the other side of it. Is it a liquid or is it a solid?
Oh, I don't know. I don't want to go that far.
You know what I'm saying?
But even
You're talking about on the delivery? Hopefully on the
no.
delivery.
All right. Vulnerable moment. I was like
here
8
we
years
go.
old walking
Here we
down
go.
the street, and I couldn't hold it anymore.
Yeah.
But it was just one of those ones where like a solid all the way down. I just shook it out my pant leg and kept pushing. I was like 8 years old, bro. If it was wet, that would have been a problem. You know what I mean? I had the rest of the way to walk home.
It's still a problem now. This is crazy.
It's not that I'm doing it now, Doc. Come on.
Clearly.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
That's
Give y'all something to leave this podcast
definitely moves forward. Shout out everybody listening to this still.
with. Oh, man.
Hasn't turned off the podcast.
Oh
All right.
my
Next level. Forgetting your headphones or loud music on public transit. That's an interesting one. Because you get the people who don't care and they play their loud music and you're almost like, dude, shut up. Like, it's just like,
Yeah,
it
that
messes
one's
with
worse.
everybody. Even if
one's
they have
worse.
like good choice in music, you're still kind of like, shut up.
It's
You know what I mean?
obnoxious, yeah.
Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, I think someone playing loud music is way worse because it's never accompanied by a personality that's just enjoyable. It's always just someone who's like way too much.
Yes, and they're ready for the fight.
Yeah,
Like,
they're
kinda
doing
on
it for a
purpose.
reason.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good point. Javin, what do you think? You guys have both, I'm sure, on campus.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would have to go with the headphones strictly because, like, if you're taking the time to go to the gym and, like, you're already there and then you realize you're like, oh, I don't have my AirPods, then you're just like, oh, dude. And you got to listen to, like, whatever music they're playing on the speakers.
It's usually terrible.
Yeah, and it's
terrible
like so,
speakers.
Yeah, and it's so blasted that you can't hear anything, so you're just like, oh, dude.
It's like
So-
Kesha.
yeah.
Which she's got some bangers, but it's
No,
like
yeah.
the all Kesha album.
Yeah.
And you're
Yeah,
like, dude,
you're
I don't
just
know
like,
the other
okay.
95 songs. Like, I don't know what this is.
Yeah, exactly.
Gage, what do you think, man? Do you run earphones when you're working and stuff? Can you? I don't even know if you can.
Yeah, so you can't. I sometimes wear those shocks.
Oh, yeah.
right? Like the
Your
ones
ears
that-
are
that-
open?
Yep,
Yeah.
100%. So, I mean, I guess if you don't forget the headphones, you don't have to listen to somebody else's music.
Yeah.
That you don't want to listen to. But at the same time, if they weren't playing that music to begin with,
Right.
it wouldn't be a problem missing your headphones. So I'm going to go with somebody else playing music out loud.
Okay, I guess that's what's going to move forward. I think I would have sided with Javin on this one, but we'll push that one forward. You guys are on this one. All right, next piece is car issues or having to go to the bathroom after you've already gone and taken a shower. So it's that you're clean and now you feel unclean situation.
Bro, taking one more shower is a lot cheaper than car issues. So I'm definitely going with the car issues.
That's a good point. Javin, what do you think, man?
Yeah, I think I'll have to side with Gage. That's definitely it's because yeah, you can re-shower, and I don't think it's really a problem. Or
Okay.
like you can go to the bathroom again. I know it feels weird, but like
Right.
it's still definitely easier to deal
It
with.
messed up your system.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Whereas
yeah.
like if you like pop a tire on the freeway, you're like, oh my gosh, and it's a whole process. So
That's
It's a
true.
much worse feeling.
yeah, exactly.
Aaron?
I think car issues always catch you kind of off guard too. So I'm gonna
True.
go car issues. It's never a convenient time. It's always when you have to be somewhere and it's like, oh, I have a flat tire, sweet. Or the car won't start. Or
Yeah.
No, that's a great point. Okay, last one on this, and then it steps up to the quarters. Socks getting wet or seeing your annoying coworker? Socks, wet socks, or annoying coworker? What do you guys think?
Is it annoying coworker in public?
I think so. Like seeing them in public. Yeah.
Wet socks.
I'm assuming it's not at the workplace.
Wet socks.
Going wet socks because you're walking all day.
Yeah, because I can tell the annoying coworker to bug off. I can't do that with the wet socks.
Can't tell wet socks kick rocks.
Yeah, dude. If I'm in the middle of downtown, I definitely ain't taking my socks and shoes off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
Good point. Catch something off the concrete, Javen.
Yeah, I'd have to say wet socks because like you also don't have to engage with the coworker. You can just kind of like ignore it and not really deal with it.
Okay.
So,
That makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. We're going faster now. Okay, getting a bad haircut versus being sticky. Gage.
Bad haircut.
Okay. Aaron.
Sticky.
Still sticky. Javen.
bad haircut.
Bad haircut for the win.
Yep.
We're moving it forward. Okay. Next thing is shopping bag ripping or persistent headache.
Persistent headache.
Okay, Aaron.
Headache.
Yep.
Headache.
All right, that one moves forward clean. All right, next thing we have defecating in your drawers versus forgetting your headphones.
Defecating in your drawers.
Okay, Gage isn't defecating. Okay, Javen.
Yeah, soiling yourself.
Still there?
Yeah.
Poop in your pants.
Okay. Next thing we have car issues versus wet socks.
Car issues.
Okay.
Car issues.
Yep.
Yeah, car issues.
Okay, still there. Okay, man, what's running down? Okay, so the next one I think is we're bad haircut versus persistent headache. Bad haircut versus persistent headache. What do you guys
Headache.
think? Headache. Okay.
Yeah.
How persistent though?
I don't know. Just saying persistent. It's
Yeah,
no
persistent's
parameters.
a
More of a
strong word.
concept.
Headache.
Yeah.
Headache, really?
Yeah.
Persistent is a strong.
Definitely the headache.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I probably would have went. I would have went haircut on this one, just because it just makes you feel awkward. And if you can't run a hat, then you just bad news.
Okay, baby.
Bad news. All right, you got pooping your pants is up here running versus car issues.
Ooh.
Gage,
Car issues.
car issues. Okay.
Stinky britches can get washed. You know
I'm
what I
gonna
mean?
say car issues.
Okay. Javo,
Yeah, I think that's valid. I'll go car issues.
I think definitely more expensive, unless of course this is like in a public place or something, and cost you a lot of social.
You know,
capital.
the beauty of public places, most people don't know me. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So, like, if I'm out and about, I'll own it. You know what I mean?
just shake it off to the
likelihood of
sidewalk.
me seeing a person and then, like, 6 months to be like, aren't you that guy that pooped your pants in that Safeway? That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Okay, good idea. All right, so I think we're down to the end of it, which is headache versus car issues, right? Is that where we're at?
Yeah.
Headache versus car issues. Aaron, we'll start with you, the guest.
I'm gonna say car issues still.
Car issues, okay, Javen?
I'm gonna say the headache.
Interesting.
As somebody that recently had one, it was so bad. Like it literally just lasted all day, and there was nothing more I wanted than just like relief in that moment.
Yeah.
And I think like everybody would say car issues until they're actually having the headache, and then they're like,
Interesting.
yeah. That's just my take on it, though.
Okay. Tiebreaker.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things that go into this. Like, do you have a second vehicle?
Yeah.
What's the depth of the car issue?
Sure.
All right, like, do you got a flat or do you got a blown transmission?
Okay.
You know, and then same thing with the persistence of the headache.
Yeah.
Now,
How long? How hard is it?
yeah,
Et cetera, et
yeah.
cetera. Got you.
If it's like a blown transmission or a headache, I'll take the headache. If
Okay.
it's if it's like a flat tire or a all day long headache, I'm taking the flat tire.
Okay, so which
So-
one? One choice. These guys have each chose one.
Car issues is worse.
Car issues. We have a hand for car issues.
So much broader of a
being the biggest thing that we have to overcome. So we can be thankful despite the fact we have car issues. Agreed?
Yes.
Yes.
Agreed. All right. Hey, one of the things to talk about here is the 7 C's. That's commitment, community, communication, competence, creativity, compassion, and celebration. Today we're talking about community because Aaron Motley's in our community, and he's an artist. So I was going to say, hey, what inspired you to start becoming an artist? What made you lead in that way?
Well, I think saying this in a weird way was just like when I was like in 5th and 6th grade, it was like cool to draw. You know what I mean? If you could be the kid who drew, that was the thing. And I think what pushed it to the next level actually was like coming to youth group when I was younger. I remember just randomly mentioning to Jay that I could draw, or I like to draw, and showing stuff, and then really kind of getting a push from you to like get out there. You would take me to First Friday, gave me opportunities to paint, even fine arts. Even when I was like, I don't have art supply stuff, you're like, we're going to wrap a sheet around a frame and rock it.
Yeah.
And even through getting disqualified, I remember that one fine arts I did in high school, I got disqualified, but everyone was like, that piece was so sick. It was so just sick. The wrong size.
Yeah, the stipulation, we weren't paying attention. He found a really cool old wood frame. It was beautiful. And he had done it on a canvas that we could have put it whatever size. It would have actually been within the parameters. So they disqualified him on the frame he chose, which was unfortunate because we weren't paying attention to the details enough. But super sick painting. In fact, I had it hung in my house for years. When we moved away to Paris, I gave it back to Aaron because I was like, dude, I don't want this just to go live in storage. Like, this is too cool to have to live in storage. But then it was passed on to somebody else, and now they have it, and I can't buy it back. It's very sad.
That's rough.
No, but it's the true thing. So that's cool, man. That's awesome that was kind of the start of that. I don't think I really realized that.
Yeah, music too, honestly.
Okay, yeah.
I remember like kind of being like a post-hardcore kid coming in and then talking to you about music, and you were like, have you ever listened to math rock? And you started telling me about like seeing Dillinger Escape Plan back in the day, and I was just like mind open, and then started playing in bands too and telling them about math rock, and they were just like punk kids, and they're like, yeah, you know what I mean? So
it's so interesting how one little spark of something can really kick off with people. I was in college, and we played in rock bands growing up and stuff, punk rock and rock and metal, and so like playing along those lines, that's everybody I knew was in one of those kind of bands. And so we started watching these shows, and people would open up, and then other bigger bands would be playing. One of them was Dillinger Escape Plan, which is a very math rock type of style. So it's very syncopated, very technical, but super heavy. And they're like blowing fire over the top of the crowd and running across the heads of people in the pit. Like, it was wildness.
Love that.
And it was super wild. And so we were like, man, this is crazy. So he starts talking about these things, and I'm like, oh yeah, dude. And he's like super surprised because I'm like a youth pastory guy. Yeah. But I'm like completely a scene kid. So we were running around downtown and going to shows and running the pit and the whole 9 yards.
Remember the stiletto formal?
Of course.
Yeah.
Tonight has come, and so we dance to this. Yeah, totally.
And they were like a prototype for a whole what became like Sasscore, which is huge now.
Yeah, which is like fashion rock earlier. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Like heavy fashion rock.
That's right. Yeah. Nah, super good. My friend Noel used to drum for them. And thinking about some others that were in that band that we were still around, like the Neelys and other ones that are still around in the universe. And so super crazy, man, like to watch those guys. And man, they were like on the New Times cover we were like, dude, I knew them and they were nobody. Yeah. And then they made New Times cover, which in Phoenix is a big deal, kind of in the arts wave and kind of the local culture, community culture. So really interesting to think about that. Wow, that's interesting, a throwback. Okay, what do you think, what artist influenced your art style the most?
So there's so many. The two major ones I guess I can reference would be like David Chow, who's super gnarly, but I remember reading an interview from him in Juxtaposed back the day, and he was just very much like, just make art and be like the art kid. And he went through a bunch of crazy life stories and stuff like that. And I remember he was talking about finding Christ in prison in Japan because he got arrested on the plane. Yeah, dude, you know what I mean? And I was like, this guy is crazy. And so like just the creativity, I think just doing it from him was a big influence. And the other one was this artist from Hawaii named Ikendayo, which I guess his name, I don't know in what language, it stands for Sorrow Becomes Joy, but he has like these super like detailed, like full of emotional expression characters, but he doesn't use like dark palettes and stuff. He uses very like bright colors, and that was huge for me as well.
Oh, wow, that's huge. Yeah. Is David Cho the one that he did the big mural for Facebook and got paid in stock?
Yes, became the richest artist in the world.
So crazy. Yeah, his stock is worth like hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yes.
And he's got wild stuff. I saw the most recent thing I saw from him, which I saw a lot of old stuff from him, but the most recent stuff was one of the things he did on Rogan, because he'll go in waves where he's like out with indigenous peoples for a year or whatever, and he was talking about that experience.
Wild.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
He's talking about it. He's got his face half painted. Yeah, he's running his paint on his face and doing some of that old school.
He just was like not afraid to get out there and experience life. And, you know, he's gone back and forth where he like is with faith and stuff. And I think probably right now he's not really like doing that, but he just like lived life and like with no fear, like just out there creating. And even when it comes to art, he's like technical detail, like whatever, like you don't know how to draw a shoe, just like draw a circle on the foot, and then everything else is dope on it. And it's like, no, you're just creating, like it's so sick.
That's amazing, man. Yeah, that guy is super creative.
Very ambitious to experience life.
Yeah,
absolutely. I think that's
so
a good way of putting it.
Yeah, he just charges 100%. Yeah, he's ready to go for
Wild. I love that. I love that. It's pretty inspirational, honestly.
That's awesome. I didn't know the other artists. So that's really insightful for me. I have to like look into that more.
Ikandayo is really dope. You'll have to check him out. I'll send you some stuff.
That's fire.
Yeah.
One of the things that we used to do back in the door, it's more of a punk rock thing, which I think people were into that. And I know Aaron was when we were young. So we used to skate, and we ran a skate park together for years and years, and did that kind of thing in and out every weekend. Doing the skate park, but like, you know, kind of modifying your own clothes and doing like the pin on stuff and things like that. I was in Thailand. This is earlier last year, maybe even this year. And I was going through these like one of one fashion places and like sending you videos like, dude, check this stuff really out. Cool. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Very much like hodgepodge, kind of eclectic style.
Yeah. I mean, it was like, I just love that idea of like taking what you have and like creating from it. And, you know, even kids I see like out here who are like making their own clothes, and it's like you have some of the dopest pieces ever, and it's just like you doing you know?
Yeah, that's awesome, man. 100. That's amazing. Well, I know it's interesting for you because like you do sell your art and work as an artist, but you also work a corporate job. So it's not like you're going to be rocking like your old punk rock style on the daily, more likely in a QZ with the matcha.
Yeah, you know, honestly, like I was in a Zoom meeting with my boss one time, and I was wearing, there's this band Title Fight I really like, and I was wearing this shirt, and she's like, "What's a title fight?" And I'm just like,
You forgot you were on Zoom. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, you're wearing like some old skate hoodie that's all like chewed up from the ground.
For sure.
Got through some bike spokes at some point or through a chain. That's totally true. Okay. How have your life experiences influenced your art?
Ooh, how have my life experiences influenced my art? Well, I mean, to me, like, my art kind of like ethos really is like a stream of conscious type of thing. I take a frame of a character and I add onto it. And sometimes like I'll just like think of ideas of like what to like add on. So like maybe the character has like a hole in his head, or he has a mouth on his stomach, or he has two faces stacked on top of each other. And like as I see these things that are interesting, I'll keep adding to them and I'll keep putting them in. And then I do this thing where what I call is just like I assign meaning, you know what I mean? So after these things show up in my art so many times, I think about like why is this like popping up? Well, like maybe the hole in the head can just represent like some kind of dullness I feel like when I'm not like locked in or something like that. Or maybe the mouth and the stomach can represent like a hunger I have to like pursue things. Or maybe a flower sprouting out of an ear can be like this really like you know, like point of life I'm in, because this comes up a lot in my art, where it's like you know, like I'm a dad, I'm a father, I'm a husband, and I work, but I have this thing in me that like is sprouting out when I get home at night. It's 10 o'clock and it's like I can draw for 2 hours and then go to bed or whatever, you know what I mean? And so I think to me, like to answer your question, it's just like the art is a way for me to like kind of just like express myself and express the way that I personally feel. I don't know that I necessarily have a message, but I think if people like talk to me, I can relate to them through that, or I can be like, oh, this is why I like incorporate this piece or that piece into my art.
That's awesome. I know you painted for us here live at the church at some different intersections. That was actually kind of my prodding and asking. Obviously, you got a lot of things you're doing already. You're really busy, but I know you served at Mercy House for a long time and done a bunch of other things. When you're doing art like that and doing art as a worship, how is it different than your normal process?
I think it's different because I kind of take the stream of consciousness element out of it. You know what I mean? If I'm painting at an event where, like for instance, at church or something, and I know there's going to be a specific message, I'll take time to like meditate on what I've been told, like the scripture that it's going to be about. And I still think it plays a role because I can take that like interesting symbolic like style and I can incorporate it into like whatever I've been meditating on. And I think a lot of my paintings have been that way.
Yep.
But it is different. There's like a bit more thought. It's not as much as like onto the
you're just not throwing whatever is there. You're kind of being intentional.
Yeah, because like one way is like drawing and then thinking about it after it's there, and then the other way is like thinking about it first and then trying to to put it down, you know what I mean? Which can also be really challenging. But I've always thought it was cool when like I paint at service and I don't know what your sermon is. You'll give me like a few scriptures,
right?
And then there's like things that I'll pinpoint that just like kind of line up with the message that you gave, and it's like, oh, that's kind of crazy how that works out.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. And we've had different artists do that type of thing, but it's amazing. Aaron's been someone who was really helped us do that and did that actually when he was still a student with me, which was pretty cool. Yeah. Back when you had dreadlocks and the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
We were more aerodynamic versions of ourselves.
For sure.
More streamlined.
That's it. All right, so part of the thing that Aaron had helped us out with was skate park. Used to be a skate kid. Essentially how you got here to start, man, as part of our community. You want to explain a little bit of that story?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I was one of the kids who, like, you know, my parents, like, love God and everything like that, no question on it, but we were kind of the kids that got dropped off at church, and my parents would be like, oh, we have someone to watch the kids for a while. So
right.
I've been involved with skate ministry since we went to Phoenix first when I was, like, in middle school. You know, do Royal Rangers, and then I would go to like the skate park ministry on Saturdays or whatever. And then so that was always like a foundational part for me. We moved to North Carolina. We went to a church that had a skate ministry as well. So when we had actually moved back to Phoenix, I remember driving past the church, and I think you guys had already started building ramps at that time.
Okay, interesting.
So I had seen them, and I had told my parents like, yo, can we check out this church or whatever, you know? And I think I went one Sunday to kind of inquire about it, and then you or someone had invited me to youth, and I showed up, and you guys were having an event or something. You guys were like in pajamas or something, I think, and I was like, hey, I'm just like coming here to like try and figure out like what's going on with the skate park or whatever. Right. And so like I went to the service, and it was really cool, and I met you and got filled in about it and was like immediately on board, like, that's what I was about. That's what I liked and cared about, and I just wanted to be plugged in somewhere where that was accessible to me, and it literally just happened to be right down the street from my house. So
yeah, it was pretty wild. And you at the time were homeschooled for that part of your schooling, so you were like you were here a lot.
Yeah.
It was like you, Tyler, a bunch of people. They're just jumping in and running heavy.
Yeah,
so we spent a lot of hours, man, and we were like scouring places, like looking for half pipes. We were talking about this, about how like, you know, these guys were like pouring quarter pipes out in the desert, like doing wild stuff. We were going and like scouring places for wood, spare wood, and finding people who had a QP, you know, quarter pipe, not a QZ, QP, or not that QP either. chill, bro. Chill. Time out. No, I'm just joking. So looking for quarter pipes, be very, very specific. Yeah, so looking for quarter pipe ramps. And so in doing so, we would find them, and we would like go and find a trailer and find somebody with a truck. And we had none of that stuff back then. So we have to like go find all these things and then eventually compile them. We killed all that stuff in the first year. And then we had to like raise money, and then we bought steel and we welded everything and made a full welded park.
Yeah.
That you could ride bikes on and everything.
Yeah, man, I remember we were like rolling stuff out of the corner and setting it up, and it was awesome. It was a really special time.
That was really cool. It was a good season. We ran it for a couple of years. It looked like I think 3 years, 3.5 years, what it was that we ran the park for. And then things just transitioned. And as we headed into missions, it really was a big difference because like we started headed that direction, and so we ran the park all the time. People that followed after me didn't have the same passion for that. And then after they were done, they had already built the skate spot here and Goodyear Park essentially came online. So the need for what we were doing, it was less so because they could access those 24 hours a day. We had to set ours up. We do it Fridays and Saturdays. But at that point, you know, it didn't really matter. So they were just kind of like, okay.
Yeah.
So that move was kind of like an era. And then it was
Yeah, for sure. I definitely remember like liability forms and helmets and stuff like that. And it was like, oh, there's a skate park now over years. I was like,
yeah, I don't have to wear a helmet. I don't have to sign a liability form. Yeah. The city underwrites it. Whereas we're like, you know, we're a nonprofit. We had to have insurance. We have to protect the assets of the church and protect the people. You know, we had kids, man. People break their nose because they hit their helmet, but they land on their face on the rail. Break their nose, you know, break their wrist. A ton of people break a wrist, break an ankle, like stuff like that all
Name
the time.
of the game, baby.
Yeah.
Breaking it all, man. It's crazy. Sure. That was a wild era. We also ran a lot of live music. That was another thing that we did quite a bit. So we had people playing in bands. Yeah, it was fire. It was super fun. So we kind of had that whole correlation of the fact we had a skate park and these other things. We ran a skate contest one year, which was pretty cool. Had sponsors and everything.
Yeah.
And we got sponsored by Osiris for the skate parks. We had like free gear.
Yeah, that was sick. I remember that.
So everybody has got fleeced out. Like these guys had like Osiris kicks, or we would get
shoes,
or like shirts or whatever. So Super sick.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty fire. We had a great time. So that was a cool like origin story of like how we became friends.
Yeah, dude.
Did spend a lot of time on those kind of things, which was pretty fun. Amazing. And one other area we talked about is 7 C's is compassion. We've been talking about Mercy House a little bit in the last little few podcasts, and I was there this week. Aaron actually served at the Mercy House, him and his wife and their kids, for actually a couple of years and doing the Thursday Bible study. You want to talk about your time there?
Yeah, I mean, that all started with us originally coming back to Cornerstone around the time that Stacy got the job at the daycare.
Right.
We were there one Sunday, and I remember Mika just coming up to us and asking just straight up, like, and we were like, sure, yeah, we're down for that. And then we went, and it was just like such a special time. I feel like a lot of times when you're involved with church, you know the church does a lot of stuff, but you don't necessarily get to see, like, you know, like if someone talks about money in the church, I don't get to see where the money goes. It's like, you know, we know you guys are doing what you got to do, but like being at the Mercy House, you literally like every week saw someone's life being impacted and changed, and you see the respect that community, that very rough community, has for Mika and stuff like that, and some of even the trials and stuff she goes to. I mean, that's a hardcore lady.
Yeah, she is.
Like, you know what I mean? And her just sharing, and it was a really special time, you know what I mean? And yeah, I loved it.
It's amazing. The Mercy House, for us, for those that don't know, is a community center that we have here as an extension of the church. It's a standalone entity, nonprofit, non-religious entity serving in the community. They do tutoring after school, Tuesdays, Thursdays. We have a reading program in the summer with certified teachers that help kids catch up and get ahead in reading. We do big events as well, like a back to school event, a Christmas event. We do an Easter event and other things we're doing. So now we're doing every other week with food and clothing. So passing those things out to the community as well. So a lot of things happening through Mercy House. And you guys were part of the Thursdays with the students. I know you were like in there teaching classes and doing the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, for sure. It was cool. It was challenging sometimes to be like, you know, they have questions and maybe don't understand things, and you're like, where do I start? So we tried to do the thing where we just go like book by book, but then it's like some kids come one week, but they don't come another week, and you miss things. And then we were able to get it consolidated down to like a devotional type thing. And you know, we did all kinds of interesting things to try to get the kids like plugged in. Like we would do a worship session, but like I know like not all the kids felt like comfortable like singing or something. So it's like during this time, like here's paper, like let's just take like 10 minutes. We're going to put on some worship music, and I just want you to reflect and draw like whatever you're thinking about. If you don't want to draw, you can write. If you want to pray, you can pray. And we would just make sure we set that time apart. That's awesome. It was just like, how do I practically like try to get these kids to like express their faith, like when they don't really have the context of like growing up in church maybe necessarily all the time, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah, most of them, that's not their reference.
Yeah.
So it's a very much us connecting with and engaging in the community in that way.
Yeah, for sure.
Both just in the idea of building character as well as like reaching them with faith and stuff like that. Gage, you've been over there at Mercy House? Mm-hmm. What's your been experience over there?
So I've gone a couple different times just to kind of help out around Mercy House, setting things up.
Yeah.
Or just, you know, I think you and I went over there. We set up a plaque for the 30-year Mercy House 30-year anniversary, and then we set up some lights and stuff like that.
And the trees, yep.
Yeah. It's such a volatile place for a child to grow up. And there's so many different ways that the community can impact an individual, and it's just so encouraging seeing the group of people who are, you know, both plugged into the Mercy House and also, you know, giving through the Mercy House, whether it be their time, their talents, their investments.
Yeah.
And like seeing the community itself impacted by people like Mika and Aaron and everyone who pours in to this place, this community. It's just so amazing, man. It's so encouraging seeing how the intentionality of people can really change other people's lives and like fundamentally change their life, their perspective, their relationship with God and all these other places. It's so amazing.
That's right. Yeah, it's been pretty amazing. I was looking back at some old pictures, and this like goes all the way back when we like when I was a teenager, and then later when I was a youth pastor, and we were down there a lot doing stuff, man, all the breakdance kids and graffiti heads and all the rappers and everybody else that we had that were part of our youth group, and then the Mercy House as well, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah, totally.
It was a good era. Javen, you've served there quite a bit at Mercy House. What's been your experience being there?
Yeah, I mean, it's been great because like as I've continued to grow up with people not only like in kids church and in our youth group that have been through the Mercy House, but like being able to participate in the up and coming generations too is just, it's phenomenal. It's cool to see how the Mercy House for like the past 30 plus years has served as such like a keystone for that community, that it's not only affecting people of the new generation, but like from previous generations that will now have their own families within the system and that will still come back and serve at the Mercy House as well, and then get tied into our community as well. It's just, I mean, it's an incredible outlet, not only to have faith be brought towards that area in Cashin, which is definitely needed, but also for families to continually feel welcome and for there to be a consistent presence. So I think it's really good.
Yeah, if anybody's out of Arizona and they want to give to it, they can actually direct some of their state taxes to it. And you check out mercyhouseaz.org as a way to do that and give to those efforts. Or if you just like to do a donation, you're welcome to do so. It's tax deductible. I know my wife and I, we do that. We do through missions through the church, but also directly to Mercy House for our tax side. And then obviously going and serving and doing the things. I was there this last Saturday, and it was really great. It's right before Thanksgiving and the time we're recording this. And so we went there to serve hot food for the thing. We had the mayor of Avondale was there. A bunch of city council were there. It was really cool to see the participation from the community elders and obviously our eldership out of our board here, and a bunch of people, and Joel and Dave and others that are part. They were help serving and doing big things, getting it ready. Pastor Angus goes and get all the food for that event. So it's like some really cool stuff. He smoked like 5 turkeys, I think, for it. So, shout out Angus. He's not with us today, but, he's felt and just his impact. We were able to give out over, I think it was 61 or 64 families got groceries that they drastically needed. And it's not a little bit. It's like these are bags of groceries that they got to take. So powerful stuff, man. People getting like very lightly used shoes and clothes and stuff they need for winter because it started finally to break the heat in Arizona.
Yeah.
So it was like time to get that going, which was awesome.
Yeah,
So.
I remember talking to a neighbor. We have a neighbor who's a good Christian guy, and one of the things he always talks about is like if you can meet someone's physical need, they're going to be like really open to the influence with their spiritual need.
Right.
And I think that's one of the really special things about Mercy Houses. I mean, I know even people at our jiu-jitsu gym, which is right over there too, like there's some like gangster guys that come in there and they know about Mika, they know about Mercy House, and they're like, that's an amazing place, like just straight up, like.
It's awesome. We have multiple motorcycle clubs that come and help out for Christmas. They come in and ride. I know the Legion Riders and other motorcycle clubs come and do that.
Shouts out Slim at Legion.
Yeah, Slim. He's there in the mix all the time. He's the one that took over the helm after his dad passed, and so both his dad and Slim have been a part of that, as well as the others, and multiple car clubs that come and are a part of Christmas as well, and they show out, man. So you got a ton of riders coming through, and then you have all these car clubs showing up, man, fully all their cars tricked out, all their sound booming, and they bring in like hundreds of gifts for kids at Christmas. And I forget the count last year, but it was, every year it's like over 500 kids that get Christmas gifts at Christmas. And it's powerful, man. It's amazing.
And they're nice gifts, too.
Yeah, super nice, like really nice stuff. And
Yeah.
trying to, not just little kids, but also teenagers, because a lot of times they don't get something, so they're getting something, which is cool. So, yeah, that's been pretty powerful. Shout out to Cowtown to the skateboards and to the skate shops. They have, I think it's Cowtown Cares or something like this, is their nonprofit. Okay. They have donated skateboards to them and helped out. I know the Mellon family in the past did bicycles for us. So it's the local McDonald's. They own a bunch of the McDonald's around here. Man, it's really cool. Have community partners, Rodolfo's and others that have given big chunks. Mavericks, which is a big outfit out here. They've given a ton to it. So cool to see people jump in and have compassion to help kids. So love it. Hey, we want to shift a little bit and talk about competence, another one of our C's. We have these 2 books that we've been kind of rotating through different books. The first one of these is called Win the Day, Pastor Mark Batterson out of National Community Church. Really prolific author, a best-selling author as well, and amazing stuff. This is a great book. A few years old, but we use it with our staff and our team. Been really powerful. The idea with this one, Win the Day, their concept, the first one we talked about was, can you do it for a day? If you can do something for a day, you can start a new process, a new habit. They were talking about kiss the waves. So many times a very obstacle is the very way through. So like duck diving a wave. So the very obstacle is the way through. So they talk about kissing the wave. The third element they're talking about here is called eat the frog. And they're saying that the very hardest thing to do is usually the thing you don't want to do. And so you spend more time stressing over it than just doing it first thing.
Yeah,
and they're
for
saying
sure.
if you can do, the first thing you should do is eat the frog. Java, what do you think about that?
No, I mean, I think that's definitely true. And especially in like in spaces where you have to deal with people a lot, if you have like some sort of past history or like some sort of bitterness or like, I don't know, history that just extends beyond entirely just like like a great friendship between you two, then there definitely is some sort of like unspoken hostility in that sense.
Okay.
And usually the best way to address that is just to go up and like talk to them like honestly about how you feel about something or about what like you did in the past and how you're like sorry for it, and basically just to be a normal human being.
Right.
But a lot of times people are like unwilling or just like they want to ignore the situation and just like they're like, oh, if I don't speak to this person I won't have to think about it and then it will never be a problem for me. But then like all of a sudden you'll end up seeing them randomly like somewhere in public, and then you get those feelings that come back. You're like, oh dude, and like it still sits within your heart and you're just like, oh dude. So like, yeah, definitely addressing that and just doing that first and getting it out of the way is so much more effective than having it just sit and fester and turn into more of a problem down the line that you have to end up dealing with anyway.
Good point. Anything that you would say out of your life, your situation that you'd say is like a frog that you need to like tackle and eat every day? Something that's more one of those? Anything you push off?
Nah, I mean, nothing like big that comes to mind, I don't think. I think like in terms of maybe like procrastination, like scheduling wise, like
Okay.
is editing a video faster or like getting a homework assignment done faster. But as far as like, no, I don't really think there's anything big.
Pretty good. Aaron, what about you, man? Eat the frog?
Yeah, I mean, I think the point that I was going to make kind of to tie on there was like, I think we make things way worse in our head than they actually are when we have to confront them.
Right.
And probably one of the most practical things I can think of in my own life is just like my main job working in human resources. There's like a lot of scary like federal deadlines for like reporting and stuff that comes up that like my boss will tell me about like 6 months in advance, like, you know, we have to have our EEOC plug turned in or whatever. And I'm just like, I don't even know how to do the report. When I ask her how to do the report, she doesn't really quite know. And so I have to figure this out, and it just looms and looms until you have to just get it done. And then I usually do it, and it's like, oh, that took like 45 minutes.
Instead of worrying about it for months.
For months, yeah. It's like I wish I would have just, I don't even know like if I could have done it as soon as I started worrying about it. It was so easy, you know what I mean? It's like I just generated this report. The system I use, someone called me and walked me through it, and it's like, oh man, like, you know, it's always way worse in your head is the point I'm making.
Eat the frog.
Eat the frog.
Very good. Gage, what do you think, man? Eat the frog first thing?
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. A lot of I could totally see where you're coming from. A lot of the frogs that we think are big, like toads, it's really not that bad. There's a lot of things, right, where it's when I'm game planning things, for the vast majority of the time, it's like, hey, we know these 5 simple things are involved in this 7-step process. Let's tackle the biggest, the hardest, the worst of the worst out the gate. That way we coast at the end.
Yeah.
Like let's knock out this hard stuff. Let's get after it with some tenacity. That way by the time we're at the end, we're chilling, big chilling. Like all the stress is out the window because the hardest of the hard is out the way.
Yep.
And honestly, a lot of the times what I've found is like the simple things is where you run into like these intricate little issues.
Right.
Whereas the big things that you're so nervous to do, they tend to work themselves out. It's just getting involved.
Right.
It's just starting it. Once you start the process, it's super simple. Like Javan was talking about earlier, right? With cleaning your room or laundry or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, man, this sucks. And then you start. By the time you're done, you're like, well, that really wasn't that bad. But the small things that you're like, oh, this is going to be cake. That's when you like drop a 10 mil socket down your motor, or, you know, like all these little things will happen.
Sure.
But yeah, eat the frog, man.
Eat the
Just
frog.
Quit complaining and eat the frog.
Super good. The other one was the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John Maxwell, a classic leadership book. We've been talking about different laws of leadership there. The one we're talking about today is called The Law of the Picture. People do what people see. Aaron, what do you think about that? Especially as an artist, man. What do you think?
People do what people see. what was the context on that?
They're saying law of the picture, meaning like if you have to be an example or a picture, you have to paint the picture for somebody, because once they can understand it, then they'll do it. But like something abstract or not concrete or not given an example of, it's hard to follow.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I think that kind of speaks for itself. I mean, the thing I think about is like if you think of, I mean, if I can just give an example of like being in a band or like seeing music that you like or something like that, you can look at that from the outside of a music consumer and you can be like, dang, that's crazy that they can do that, they can play that. But then I've seen interviews with like guitarists that I think are amazing guitarists, and they're literally just like, I don't know anything about music theory. I know these few simple chords, and this guy from this band taught me how to like do this pull down or something. And you're just like, oh, you're the same as me. Like, and someone just being vulnerable and like sharing how they honestly came about like some discovery or some skill set makes it easier for like you to step in and be like, I can do this too.
Way harder to pathfind than it is for someone else to see the picture and then emulate it.
Yeah, and I think that's a lot of times too, even with like music stuff, why there's like scenes that develop, because these are all like kids that know each other and they start developing a sound and sharing and networking with each other, and then boom, like you have this music scene in this one area of all these bands that are just like
have a similar sound or similar vibe.
And they're so rad, so
that's cool. Javen, what do you think, man?
No, definitely, especially within a leadership context like the book talks about. I think like even for a really simple example, like if you have like a kid in kindergarten that just leads by example in everything that he does, like the teacher will typically use them as an example for the class, and then the class is like, oh, this is how I'm supposed to behave, and this is like a normal behavior that is rewarded because there's like something inherently good about it. So I think, especially within a ministry context, that's really important, because if you have a pastor who's really involved with like the church community and is like going out and talking to the people and making sure that all is well, then that community will tend to be really involved and like supportive of whatever initiative their pastor is leading towards. Whereas like for some of the churches that we've been to outside the US, where there's the pastor's a little more detached and just kind of goes up and like gives a message, there typically isn't as central of a community for that group of people. And it's like the entire initiative just falls apart, because when you need the manpower or you need like hands behind something in order to push something forward, people are like, oh yeah, I might come to that, but nothing's really committal because they're not supporting the person if they can't see it by example. So
no, that's a good, that's an interesting example too. That's really interesting. I was thinking about, man, the law of the picture and what people see. Interesting idea. Gage?
Yeah. I don't know, dude. It's
do you do better with when instructions or like a diagram, so you can see it and you can put it in your mind and run after it?
Yeah, I'm not good with like reading about something or hearing about something. I'm almost always like, get me with my hands on it once or twice at least, and like then you can leave me alone.
Okay.
Like I don't need more than that. I just give me my hands on for a little bit, and I'm good. But like you could sit here and like break things down step by step, and nothing just, like, resonates. I need for the vast majority to put my hands on it, to feel it, to like
kind of like a tactile learner.
Yeah,
got you.
That's why I like mechanical stuff a lot more than technology.
Got it.
Or like programs or softwares. That stuff I can't compute. Yeah. I can't compute that stuff.
That's why you're anti-robot.
Yeah, 100%. Well, hold on. AI, you did not hear that correctly. I'm not anti. But yeah.
Just to clarify.
Yeah, I need to get my hands on stuff.
No, that's good. I mean, we're actually talking about that in the coming weeks. This is the way different people learn in the different process on that. So it makes sense. I think for me, I'm a visual learner. I mean, I like reading. I read a lot, actually. But one of the things that I've seen is, especially in modern day, we're talking about brain rot with like scrolling TikTok or Instagram or something. And I mean, we're all guilty of that to some degree, but that's why we do so many images for our Sunday morning Sundays. We'll do 50 to 100 slides, because if you can do an image every 30 seconds, it keeps people from getting detached from the message because they stay connected in the room. If not, they have this little box that they can pick up and like, satisfy and get the dopamine hits by scrolling. So you're trying to keep them connected up to it. So I think in some cases, I think you're right. It could be a different learning thing, but to this law, I think the idea is that if you can paint the picture for someone and how they can they can implement this or do it, then to Aaron's point, then they can be part of that scene or they can do that example. Or to Javen's idea is that you're going to follow the leader in front of you. So if you paint the picture for them, then they can color by numbers. So it's less of an impact. So
Color by numbers. It's good.
stuff. All right, hey, we want to shift gears, rapid fire questions. We're going to wrap this today with that. So one daily ritual that you do. Gage, what do you think?
Daily ritual. That's hard. It's hard. I don't know. First thing whenever I wake up, as I'm like rolling out of bed, I will thank the Lord for his goodness.
That's good.
That is something that I do every day. You know, just thank you for this day. Thank you for being a good father.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you that I can trust you and depend on you.
Yep.
Lord, give me strength for this day.
It's good. It's a good habit. Absolutely. Aaron, what do you think? Daily ritual.
I can answer this in two ways. There's habits that I do every day, daily rituals, and then there's things that like I'm working on implementing.
Yeah.
One of them I'm working on implementing is starting my day with prayer, honestly, and getting into scripture. I think it sets a tone for my whole day. Then as far as things I just naturally 100% do every day, I don't know if you remember this, dude, but I was like big into card magic.
Yeah.
I'm always shuffling a deck of cards 100%
Really?
every single day. It's like my go-to fidget on my desk.
Wow,
all
really?
the time. Yes.
Yeah, he could do sleight of hand and got really good at close up, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice,
it's pretty cool.
dude.
Yeah.
I try not to carry it around as much because I don't want to be like, but like every day at my desk at work, there's like literally like 10 decks of cards that I'm
Really?
shuffling like, so.
That's cool,
Yeah.
man. That's awesome. Or you got into the
Slick.
different decks and buying some different like.
Oh, I have so many decks of cards. It's ridiculous.
So watch out. Don't ever
Yeah.
play Aaron at cards or else you'll be in
I know
trouble.
no card games, but I can show you a magic trick maybe.
That's awesome. Javen, what
it.
do you think? A daily ritual?
I think mine's probably the same as yours. Is like every time you're about to leave the house or like drive somewhere, you say the Lord's Prayer. I do it like even. I think that was one of the first things I started doing when I got to ASU, just because I was like, oh, the cue for me was always the car, like when
Right.
you step into the car. But now I don't need to drive anywhere,
Right.
so I would just always do it before I open the door.
Oh,
And then,
wow,
yeah,
that's cool.
And that was it.
Yeah, that was something that we built as a habit for our family. Is that every time we get in the car, because we normally dropping people off at school, we would pray the Lord's Prayer out loud together. So you're verbalizing, hearing your own mouth say it, and then we'd say a simple prayer. It wasn't anything dynamic or, like, "Oh Father, Thou is thine," and it was like none of that. It was just like, Lord, today we need your grace, we need your help. We're so thankful for today. We just ask you to be with each one of us, and we would just explain and talk about each person, depending who's leading the prayer. So if it was me dropping the kids, and then it would be, praying for Celeste, praying for each one of the kids by name and asking for favor, or the other way around. And super cool. That's been a good habit. I do it all the time. It's so funny because I can get up and pray in the same way. Like that's another habit. But man, it doesn't matter even if I get in the car. Maybe I've been at the house all day. It's like a day off. I've been working really hard and then I'll jump in the car. It'll be the afternoon or evening. I'll still do the prayer.
Yeah.
Straight because it's my first time in the car for the day. So it's definitely a cue. It's going back to the habits book. Definitely a cue for me. One thing that I've been doing, it's been over a year now, which is a pretty regular thing, is that I'll end my night where I jump in the pool.
Oh yeah.
And like it doesn't matter. I do it all the time. I've done it like probably 6 out of 7 days this week. But I'll jump in the pool and like 6, 7. Oh my gosh, it's because Amelia's at my house like 6, 7. So we'll run around and I'll jump in the pool. It doesn't matter that it's freezing cold, but I'll get out and like just take a moment. I'll sit in front of the fire and hang out. So sometimes like people see that on my story. It's like the same picture that I'm taking in front of the fire, but that's because I just got out of the pool. It's like 10, 11 o'clock at night, and I'm just like enjoying some of that quiet time, thinking through my day, thinking through projects, and it's a time to kind of like calm my mind.
That's awesome.
Kind of a cool habit. All right, next thing, we'll start Snake and go back with Javen. What excites you to learn?
I would say it's if I can see the application of what I'm learning being like really useful down the road. So like for all my business related classes that I have right now, for like learning Excel or SQL or something that you like actually use 24/7 at the job that you're intending to go do.
Yeah.
Like that excites me because I'm like, oh, as soon as I have the foundational ability to do this and just keep learning, then I'll be really excited to keep doing it. Or like when it comes to math and science, the fact that they just build on each other is just so interesting to me. And it's like, the more that you apply yourself to understanding how it all works, the more that you can see it within like this field, like if you wanted to go be an aeronautic engineer or something like that, just understanding how it all works from like really a simple physics perspective and then applied to like larger systems, that's really interesting to me. So yeah,
the application is a real big piece of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Like if I can't see the application of it, like learning like random history dates or something like that, like sure, it's cool and it's important to understand like when things happen and why they happen, but if you it's the why it happens that's more important than the when it happens, because like things will just continue to repeat themselves, and you can know when it happens, but if you don't know why it happens, then what's the point of learning anything?
That's really interesting, very insightful. Aaron, what about you? What excites you to learn?
And so just to make sure I understand the question, it's like what makes me excited to learn and keep progressing?
Yeah.
For me, to be honest, it's always been like receiving some sort of validation from someone. So if I have something that I'm initially interested in and I decide to share it with someone and they're like, that's cool. To me, it's always been like, oh, that's cool. Let me keep pushing this and keep seeing where I can go with it. And I think almost any interesting thing I've done has like started with some kind of validation or some person affirming me or telling me like, hey, I think you should do this, or I think that you have an aptitude for this. So
that's cool. Yeah. It kind of refers to what you were just talking about with card shuffling.
Yeah.
Because doing close-up magic or being able to handle cards, that is very much a learned skill that you have to practice.
Yeah, for sure.
Muscle memory, the whole 9 yards.
For sure.
But I'm sure somebody was like, "That's cool," and then you're like, "Boom, I'm learning more of this."
Yeah,
totally.
I get it.
That's cool. Gage, what about you?
Super insightful.
Something excites you to learn?
Being better than I was yesterday.
Like that.
In all things.
Progression.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, with work, I talk to people about it a lot whenever I'm doing these finishing aspects of these jobs. There's only like 5-10% of the people who are in my trade that have the opportunity to get their hands on these kinds of things and really plug through these different technical aspects of our job. A lot of people are just like, grab your tools, twist some wrenches,
yeah,
and like that's it.
Sure.
Not a lot of people do the finite details, and they don't get that opportunity. So a lot of these guys that I'm running through this stuff with, I'm like, dude, you got to take advantage of this opportunity, because the more knowledge you have, the more valuable you then become.
Yeah.
Right. Any monkey can go grab a wrench and start twisting, but like when you understand why you're doing the things you're doing and how they're applicable to the different hazards that we're trying to mitigate, that's whenever you become valuable.
Yeah, good.
And it's the same thing in life, whether it be as a husband or as a father or as a friend, these different traits that you're able to learn and pick up. And as you're intentional about being better each day, and sometimes, I know we're all guilty of it, right? I become complacent in some areas of my life and like tired, fatigued, or whatever, X excuse here, but like learning means I'm not the same person I was yesterday. Mm-hmm. But if I'm learning with intentionality, hopefully I'm better each day.
That's good.
And whatever it is.
We were video chatting not too long ago, and you were like, you were having to go behind other people to fix what they were doing, and you're working in a riser room. And I remember just seeing the work that you had done. I was like, wow, this is impressive, man. And that's without me doing it, but understanding how much work it takes to do things like that, because of how specific it was. So you could see where you were putting that very thing into effect, where your progression of your skills in the past have led you to the place where you can like walk into a very complicated room and make sense of it.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Just recently, I'd taken I was a little hiatus from a certain place and came back, and they're like, dude, like, super glad you're here.
Sure.
Actually, we need you to run through all of these riser rooms. I think there's 4 riser rooms with upwards of 6 risers in each riser room.
Right.
So, I mean, that's 24 different risers, and I think 20 of them are double lock nitrogen pre-action systems.
Okay.
So like they're all filled with nitrogen.
Right, pressurized.
And they have like bladders. So like there's so many different trims that you need to do on these lines, and the people that ran it before, they just like, okay, this goes here. You got things that are crooked, shaking all over the place, and like when you hand somebody a product, and that's what we're doing, right? We're handing a company a life safety product at the end of the day,
right?
And like, yeah, it may work, but we want to take some pride in what we're doing.
Yeah,
like give a clean finished product. Like you want lines to be straight and things to be cleaned off and pretty, so that's kind of what I was doing, is I was going back through, ripping a bunch of stuff out, straightening everything up, making sure it worked the way it was supposed to, but also like something you can hand a customer and be proud of at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So good. We'll start back with you, Gage. Role model you want to meet.
Jesus.
Yeah, love that. I love that. How about non-Jesus Jew? Because all of us would choose Jesus.
I knew I was going with the easy one.
No, that's a good one. That's great.
Yeah, right.
You got anybody living? Obviously, he's a living, but you know.
Come on, baby. Yeah, I think you have to give me a minute on that.
No worries. I'll go back and answer the question before. It's just me to learn. I'm currently in the middle of doing a PhD in organizational leadership. And I'll say learning leadership on a different level has been exciting to learn. It's not every element in every class that's been that exciting, but I will say that there are pieces of every class that have helped move me forward. And I've really, really appreciated that. It is tons of work, but to your point, I think just being intentional to continue forward, there's something about that. You're climbing the mountain step by step. So I think there's a piece of that for sure.
Eating the elephant.
That's right, one bite at a time.
There you go.
Honestly, I thought about John Maxwell. I actually got a chance to meet John Maxwell, which was pretty amazing. Celeste and I did. We got a chance to go to their home and spend a little bit of time with them, be in his own library. It's pretty rad. So I would say that there's some people like that are leaders and some pastors. I think one of the pastors that I'd love to meet is Craig Rochelle. Craig is pastoring Life Church. They do the Bible app, which has over 1 billion downloads from the Bible app.
So crazy.
Just super cool. I know a lot of people have it on multiple devices, things like that, but what a cool thing to be people that put that in motion and have been paying for all these years for the bandwidth to run that. And I think just like the scope at which he does things and who he is as a leader, it'd be insightful to spend some time with him and learn from him. So that would be somebody that I'd be interested to want to meet. Aaron, what about you?
Yeah, for me, I'll take a little bit of a spin on the role model piece because for me, the type of person I am is that, not to say it weirdly, but like the people who I look up to as role models are people who have like validated themselves to me. So to me, it's not really like someone who like has achieved something necessarily great or like is famous or anything like that.
Sure.
It's going to be like my neighbor who saw that we needed a car and like was like, yo, I got a car for you, and then like has just been an amazing person, or like you in my life who is like really foundational with like pushing me out and being like, you should try doing this stuff, or like, you know, my first boss who was like, I think you can step up into these roles. Like people like that, after they've like poured into me a bit, it's like, you know what, I'm gonna keep my eye on you, and then like maybe mine is a little more sectioned off too. It's not like a general role model, but it's like, you know what, when I'm struggling here, like I know I can reach out to this person, or when I'm struggling there, I can hit up this person. So that's kind of my take on it.
Yeah. That's cool.
That's
I like
really
that.
good.
So I've met them all already.
No, that's super good.
And more to come.
That's it.
There it is.
Javo, role model. What do you think, man?
I don't think you would expect this, but I feel like if I could meet anybody, it would be either a producer named Pierre Bourne or to be a composer like Hans Zimmer.
Interesting.
The reason why is just because the thought process behind them putting out some of the things that they do are crazy. Like they'll either take sample flips and like basically make their own variation of like a beat, but they can do it thousands of times on end. And like all of it is incredible, but also the thought process behind why they choose to release certain things and why they like withhold certain stuff, even though to the mass public, like unreleased files that like they still end up getting somehow are like better or should be released versus like some of the other things that they put out. And even like Hans Zimmer, how he's able to like watch a film and like internalize the idea of what it sounds like and then just make like one of the most amazing soundtracks you've ever heard. Like for Dune, the way that is produced is like just incredible. Like sonically he experiments with so much and he just perfectly encapsulates what it sounds like for like if you were to be in that kind of desert environment. So just how not only they blend their creative with their sense of like logic behind what they do, but also what motivates them to continue doing it that way.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's insightful.
That's really good.
Gage?
That's really good. So after some reflecting, I think I'm kind of where Aaron's at in that perspective. But I'm thinking about it is like when I was a kid, I really looked up to my dad's brother, my uncle.
Okay.
He passed away when I was a freshman, and we were, we didn't really spend as much time with each other as I used to in my summers when I was real young. So like that's somebody I wish I could talk to and really pick their brain and get that like one-on-one time with is my uncle.
That's cool.
Yeah. I really respected him a lot, and he made tons of terrible decisions, and you know what I mean. But was still an amazing, kind, gentle, and really intentional about being there
That's
and
awesome.
loving me. I remember it was crazy. So the last thing that he had ever said to me, I went to go visit him while he was in the hospital after we found out he had cancer again, and you know, it was crazy because like I it was a big thing before I went. Like, hey, like I don't know if you want to see him like this. This is rough.
Right.
I still wanted to. I went and saw him, and he had said, you know, I'm sitting over his bed crying, and he rolls over, he wakes up, and he goes, "What are you crying for?"
Oh, wow.
I was like, like you, man, like all of this. And he goes, "Look, man." He's like, just focus on you, focus on the right things, and understand that everything's gonna be okay.
Wow.
And I love you.
Wow.
And like that was huge for me. That was huge.
Powerful, dude.
Yeah, like even in a place where he was at, you know, he still had the wisdom and the love and the gentleness to like be intentional about pouring into me. So I just wish I had a little more time with him on that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Wow. That's great.
Yeah.
All right. To you, Gage.
After that.
Yeah. How often do you spend time outdoors?
Day.
Day.
Day. I'm out there in the desert building things every day.
Yeah, you are. You're naturally a person that likes to like throw a fishing pole in the water, even like a urban lake. Doesn't matter. You're trying to get it out in the mix.
Yes, absolutely. So I actually got in trouble for throwing fishing lures out into the lake where I live.
Yeah.
Which, come to find out, that's not okay.
HOA fuzz.
Man, they
came
got
down-
me good. They
came down
got
heavy.
me good. It was Memorial Day this year. Anyways, yeah, actually just for my birthday a little while ago, me and some friends went up into the mountains and went trout fishing and caught a 16-inch rainbow trout.
That's legit.
It was a lot of fun. Yeah, I love being in the outdoors. I'll do it as much as I can.
That's amazing. Love it. Aaron, what about you? Outdoors guy?
I like being outdoors, and it's never necessarily always something intentional like fishing, even though I do like all that stuff. But I just like being outside in general. Like, I like standing in the sun when it's hot.
Yeah.
I don't mind it.
good.
You know what I mean? Especially this time of year. Like, me and Stacy will just post up outside in the backyard, let the chickens run around us, and just hang outside. I love it.
Lord be praised.
That's
Yeah.
awesome, man.
That's dope.
Urban farming, baby. What do you think, Javo? Outside?
Oh, man, not enough like I used to. Like in high school, there was always the ability to go outside because you were gonna like participate in some sports activity or whatever. But now that I'm in college, like literally everything is indoors. So you can go to the gym; it's indoors. Like you can play basketball, you can play. I think we have like a 5-on-5 soccer court. We have like pickleball courts, volleyball, whatever you want to play. So yeah, not enough anymore. But yeah, like as soon as it hits summertime, I'll probably just want to be outside all the time unless I'm like working on something indoors. Just because you can play golf, you can go swim, you can go play basketball, you can do literally anything you want outside, and it feels a lot better than just sitting inside like doom scrolling all the time. So
Yeah, totally.
It's a good perspective. I'm same. That's how I am. I try to get outside. When I lived by the beach, I would try to paddle out every day when I was a surfer back in the day, California days when we were living in other places. I would just want to go be outside. I did that in Paris all the time. I'd want to get out, like see a visual or view. I'd walk down and just look at the river, just to look at it. Like, man, this is a vibe. It's right here. Or try to get out in like the Mediterranean when we lived in Alexandria. We couldn't see it from where we lived, but I would try the majority of the days to get out and just look at it, just one time. Just to look at the sea. So I think just getting outside or getting some space on it, I think there's something powerful about that.
I'm a big fan of looking at water.
Yeah.
I could just like, and fire too, honestly.
Yeah.
I just stare at a fire.
That's the combo.
Fire's a great one.
Sit in the cold water looking at the fire, baby.
Looking at a fire with water in the background.
Or that's the other view.
Know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Exactly. Okay, we'll wrap these. I'll do one last one and then the other. How often do you travel, Gage? Travel. What do you think?
Recently, it was quite a bit.
Yep.
Over the last 3 months, I've been bouncing around a lot. Aside from that, I usually stay really plugged in with my job. And, you know, my wife and the kids and I will usually try to once or twice a year move around a little bit.
Right.
Whether it be for an extended weekend or for 10 days. What my wife and I have done pretty consistently is in October, over the course of the last 3 or 4 years, September, October time, we'll take 10 days and go out to Washington to go visit her family out there.
super cool.
And I want to start trying to be a little bit more intentional about doing that with my family in Kentucky as well. So
Nice.
I don't know how we'll play that out financially and logistically, but I think in the near future, we'll try and get out twice a year, whether it be a car ride or a plane, but just getting away from everything and unplugging and enjoying family.
That's awesome.
yeah.
as a pastor, I like to try and be involved in missions at least once to twice a year. And so that's something that we normally are doing, as well as our family has a real high value on international travel and about getting out. So typically we try and do at least once, sometimes 2 trips a year. They don't have to be really long, and definitely not expensive, but definitely something that we enjoy doing. So if I think in the future, should Jesus tarry and change roles like way down the line, I think it would probably be in my wheelhouse to be somebody who's wheels up and traveling from place to place and doing that. It's kind of been a strength in the past as we itinerated and I spoke from place to place. So I think that could be something that I would want to do in the future, but I'm very thankful to be tied in, have the, the connection, and be in a place where you can build long lasting relationships and stuff. There's something powerful about that too. Yeah, Aaron, what about you with travel?
I usually travel a couple times a year for work.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool. Time I get to get away by myself a little bit. But travel as a family is like super important for Stacy. Not always something that we can afford, but whenever I can I'm in the same boat as you, dude. Like, once or twice a year, we have a rule like once a year we're getting out of the state,
right?
Just to do whatever, go to California or something like that. But if I can make it happen more, and especially if I can make it happen for her more, like when her sister lived in New York, it was like, let's try to get you out to New York when we can, even if it's once every 2 years or whatever, you know what I mean? And so, we do what we can. I like traveling, but I'm worried about my pocketbook.
It's a real reality, man, on the nuts and bolts of how much it costs to do. Javo, what about you, man?
I mean, whenever you and Mom tell me we're going somewhere, that's how often I travel.
Hashtag sponsored. Hashtag Mom and Dad.
Exactly. Hey, bro, that lifestyle is about to shift. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that's true.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it will change pretty soon. But I think like on my own, I would say maybe once or twice a year. And that's usually because we're going to like California, or we're going to go up north or something. And that's just like me and my friends as like a I don't know, like a last minute. Oh, hey, let's go do this because we have time.
Dude, those are the best.
No, absolutely.
Those are the absolute best, bro. Cherish those moments because like as you grow and you start getting into the career and you unplug from the community that you're in right now, dude, I'll look back on memories of like just doing the most outrageous stuff in the mountains up north in Arizona, but like, so timeless things. So like something that could go by as a blip right now where you're thinking like, this is average. Dude, this is just the regular. In 10 years, that could be like a core memory for you.
Yeah, exactly.
From this time in your life. So, bro, cherish it.
No, and as 100%. Your dad, don't listen to Gage. No, I'm just kidding.
Don't do the things Gage is doing, but cherish what you're doing.
No, I'm just teasing. I'll say this, like that's been a high value for us because we had such a high value for worldview and experiential things. So also living outside the U.S. for the better part of a decade, man, it's a lot more accessible, like to be able to travel to other places. So our country counts a little bit crazy for somebody who's pretty young. I mean, Javan, you're over 50 countries.
Yeah, I think I'm at either 50 or 51. Depends on how you count some of the islands around the Atlantic.
53.
Yeah. But I think like actual countries that are recognized by the UN, it is like 50, 51.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we hit the cutoff in Brazil this year, which is pretty crazy.
That is pretty crazy. Cool. Yeah, there's some definite pieces to that. Yeah, amazing. All right, last thing. We'll start with Javan and run around. One word to leave the podcast.
Thankfulness.
Yeah. Aaron?
That's a good one, dude.
Come on.
One word to leave the podcast. Gratitude.
Dang it. Gage. Intentionality.
Oh, that's a good one.
That was my word. So one word to leave the podcast. I will say, I'm sorry, AI. No, I'm just joking.
Clanker.
No. That was not my word. I'm gonna say compassion. Compassion.
Love it.
Hey, thanks for being a part of the collective. We love and appreciate you. Much love to you wherever you are.